You sell miniature pigs. One of them died.
Correct.
Maybe you fed it something wrong.
That's not the reason it died, though.
I have documents from the vet.
I'm talking. You don't want me just to dismiss your whole case, which I'm thoroughly prepared to do. I have other things to do today.
This is Judy Justice.
I don't care.
Karen Garlick is suing her former customer, Ashley Satimi, for slander and the cost of 2 miniature pigs.
Miss Garlick, you have a business. I don't know if this is your main business, but you sell miniature pigs.
That is correct. This is one of my major businesses.
How long have you been doing that?
About 18 years.
You have photographs of what your pigs look like?
Sure.
Yeah, take a look at them, please.
Do you want the ones that she got off of me?
No.
Oh, adult ones? I do have some adult ones. There's a couple photos for her.
Okay. I'm going to try to simplify this if I can. And these are babies, or are these?
Those are older ones. They're like a year old, 8 months to a year old.
How much do they weigh?
Typically, if you feed correctly, anywhere from about 12 pounds up to about 40 pounds. About the size of a medium-sized dog.
Okay. And do they live in the house?
These are house pets. So they're litter box trained. I try to train them before they ever leave. I spend a lot of time with that.
Okay. How much do you sell them for?
Typically, my prices range between about $2,000, depending on age and size, up to about $3,500.
And I assume that in this business, the smaller they are,
The more they cost.
Well, just
And
sort of
also
like
the younger they are, the more they cost.
Okay. You were buying these as pets for yourself,
Correct.
and you were going to buy 2.
Yes.
Where did you see the plaintiff advertising the piglets, or did you hear it by word of mouth?
Just Google.
Just tell me what would inspire you to get a pig instead of a dog.
Well, I have 3 dogs and 3 cats. But I went to the state fair and I saw them in the piglets in the birthing barn.
Okay, and you fell in love. Got it.
There we go.
Got it. So you bought 2 pigs. According to both of you, you gave a deposit for the pigs, correct?
Yes. She gave a deposit on each pig because the amount was more and she didn't have enough right then, so she's going to make payments.
Okay. And in total, she paid you how much?
She paid me $1,500 deposit on each piglet, and then she gave me 3 payments of $250 Zelle payments, which she was supposed to pay for $250 every 2 weeks.
Okay, so she paid you $3,750 altogether.
Yes, which she's reversed all that.
I understand.
Oh,
that.
okay.
And the total purchase price for the 2 pigs that she purchased?
Okay, each one was $2,700.
Okay.
And
well, let me go through something that each of you agree on. She purchased 2. You sent them to her.
Correct.
In transit, before she got them, one of them died.
Yes, due to complication of Spain. Okay.
One of them didn't die in your custody.
Correct.
Died in transit.
Correct.
Okay, so we don't know, but we know that certainly the
Correct.
piglet didn't die of old age. It died in transit, so she only received 1.
Right.
At that time. And what was the date of that?
She had it delivered on the 21st of September.
Okay. And when you contracted for these piglets, Miss Satimi, did you sign a contract?
I did not, no.
Did you get any paperwork at all from her?
I have text messages stating the amount owed.
No. Do you have a contract?
Didn't have a contract with her. I did send her multiple
Well, just a second. You didn't have a contract with her. So you got the pig, and there were no other terms that were agreed to by both of you in writing other than the price. And what was the total price?
$5,400 is what she owed total.
Yeah. And of that, she gave you $3,750. Okay. At some point, you took another piglet, Miss Satimi, to replace the one that had died in transit.
No, when Miss
Just a second. Well, you say you did, so you got to get your story straight. At some point, you accepted a second piglet from the plaintiff to replace the one who had died in transit.
It was get the pig or get no money back. So those are my 2 options.
Just a second. Well, that's true, Miss Satimi, because you don't have a contract with her, according to you, that you can show me. She doesn't either. So in a contract for an animal that I know I've purchased over the last 60 years from a breeder, it usually says that there is a health guarantee until you take the dog to a vet, or If the dog has a congenital illness and it's discovered by a vet, you get either a return of your money or pick of litter. There are all kinds of terms contained in a contract that I know I've always gotten, and so you understand them. If you bought these pigs for her and you bought them without any written conditions, then she has to.
I do have a written thing that was sent to her.
I don't care whether it was sent to her, whether or not she acknowledged it. You can't have a one-sided contract.
Agree.
You understand that.
I do.
You don't have a one-sided contract. So unless she agreed to that someplace, which she clearly did not, that's meaningless, what you're going to show me. And if you pay attention and don't shout out, maybe you'll find out that what I'm saying to her is to your benefit, and you're not supposed to interfere when the fact finder seems to be finding in your favor. So she was under no obligation to return your money.
No, she had.
So I'm just telling you, you accept. The answer is you accepted a second pig.
Yes, I did. Yep.
Was it in September?
It was. I didn't. Yes.
In September. On what date did you accept the second pig?
The second pig, I did not receive that until a month later, which was October 19th.
Fine. So these are a couple of questions I have specifically for you. The first pig that you got from her on September 21st is named what?
That is alive.
Yes.
That is Bacon.
And what did you name the second pig that you got on October 19th?
That was Hammy.
And according to your papers, you took Hammy and Bacon to the vet on the 28th of October.
26th, I brought them to the vet.
That's different from what you said here. I assume you have the paperwork from the vet.
Yep, I got the discharge summary.
Here you say in your answer that you took them on the 28th and you got an estimate for spaying them.
I went on the 26th, and at that point I found out that the pigs were not spayed as per...
As per what?
As per our conversation. I had conversations saying that the pig will be spayed. And on the 26th, I went to the vet, found out it was not spayed, and said, how much would it be to spay? I got a quote on the 28th, and that is...
Did you take the pigs back for the quote?
No.
So you, I'm
proof they were spayed.
Just a second. I'm talking.
Okay.
You don't want me just to dismiss
No,
your
I-
whole
I-
case.
No.
Right? Which I'm thoroughly prepared to do. I have other things to do today.
Karen Garlick claims her former customer, Ashley Satimi, slandered her business and owes for the cost of 2 miniature pigs. Ashley is countersuing for vet bills.
On the 26th, you took the pigs to the vet.
Correct.
Were the pigs given ivermectin?
Yes.
Both of them?
Yes.
May I see, by the way, the vet papers from that date?
Absolutely. Would you like the quote as well, or just the...
I don't want the quote. I want the vet's notes. So you had both pigs from the 19th of October until you took the pigs to the vet on the 26th. So the 19th, 20th, 21st, 24th, 25th, and 26th.
Yep.
Correct?
Yes.
Yep is not an answer. Yes. And when you went to the vet for the pigs, according to you, the pigs were, and according to the vet,
Yep. Yes.
the pigs were healthy, according to you, playful. I'm going to read what they said.
Wouldn't say
Just
healthy.
just a second. Well, that's what it says.
It says they have mites, mange,
No. What I'm
parasites.
telling you is
Underweight.
what they said. Bacon, who you still have.
Yep. Yes.
Yeah, and Hammy presented for examination. When Hammy arrived, she had a pendulous belly that the breeder attributed to a parasite, and she was dewormed with a product provided by the breeder, after which this appearance resolved. This is according to you. This is what you gave the vet. And Hammy began to gain weight.
Yes.
Both pigs are bright and active at home with excellent appetites. So far, that's what the vet is getting from you about the pigs.
Yep.
That they're both happy, healthy. She gave you stuff to deworm them. Hammy started to gain weight. And then the vet gave them this medicine. And 2 days later, Hammy died. This is from your history to the vet, that the pigs were fine. The vet gave both pigs this very strong medication, and I want you to describe what happened to the pig the day after you came back from the vet.
Perfectly fine.
Okay.
And can I just say that the ivermectin, that's the same stuff that Karen gave me.
Who knows how much the vet gave them? All I know is you brought in 2 healthy pigs shortly after being seen by the vet, who described the pigs as happy and healthy. One of them died. What does that have to do with her? They're in your care. What does that have to do with her?
Well, you're saying it was the medication. It's the same medication that was given.
It depends upon how much medication you give an animal.
This was a swine specialist.
Listen, I don't care, madam. I want you to understand that A, you have no health guarantee, but even if you had a health guarantee, what I'm reading from the vet is you reported that the pigs were fine, happy and healthy. She had given you a certain amount of this to get rid of the parasites, which you reported to the vet worked, and then the pig is seen by the vet, who gives the pig more of that toxic if taken in too high a dose, and died.
That's not the reason it died.
I'm reading your papers. How many days after Hammy was given this dose by the vet did the pig die? How many days after? I'm reading you. I have your papers.
3.
Well, then maybe you did something 3 days later. Maybe you fed it something wrong. It's not her problem. It's your problem.
What about Hammy 1?
By that time, she has sent you a piglet that you've had for 10 days. Now, how many pigs do you have that were purchased from her that you currently have home?
1.
Okay. And that would be bacon.
Correct.
What was the total price for bacon?
$750.
Well, that's not what bacon cost.
Bacon cost $2,500.
$27.
$2,500. If you can look at my text messages that I have
Okay,
here.
may I see the text message, please?
These are two of
Hold
them.
on.
She's got confirmations on that one on the second page as well.
Okay, cash price $4,900, Karen. Finance price is always more. I don't charge interest. Me. This is what I think is fair. I owe you $4,900 for the 2 pigs. I gave you $3,000. I owe you $1,900. PayPal took $90 because I did the PayPal protection. I will absorb that and round the remaining out to $2,000. I pay you $250 each week.
Every other week.
And she says, okay. So now we have a contract. Perfect. Would that be okay? Yes. And then you say, do they have any vaccines yet? Yes, they will be vaccinated. So you agree on that. Do you have any warranty on the pigs? This is September 20th. I don't want to accept delivery of brown one if they are sick and going to die in a few weeks. Yes. 90-day replacement. Okay. 90-day replacement is what she says. Not your money back. 90-day replacement. That's your contract. Could you please now show me where she agrees to, I don't see it, and I don't want to look through this whole thing. Show me where the price includes spaying.
That would be on her website.
No, it's not on the website.
No.
I have a...
Just a second. Show me there, which is what I asked you for, there in the messages.
Better. How about a voicemail from her where she has stated that they're going to be...
Could you just do me a favor, madam?
Yeah.
Would you show me there?
I believe it is a verbal voicemail from her. I don't believe it is written. I believe it's verbal voicemail.
What do you mean you believe?
I don't think it's in this.
So it's not in that.
I will continue looking.
Yeah,
but I know that I have it.
Continue looking.
I will.
It's not in there. No. Okay. Now you say you have a voicemail where she says that the $4,900 includes spaying. I'll hear it.
I absolutely do.
By the way, were they 2 females that were brought?
Females.
Okay.
Your Honor, I spay
Stop.
all the males, but I never spay females.
Listen to me.
Okay.
She says she has a voicemail that says that the $4,900 for the 2 pigs includes spaying.
I'd like to see.
She says she has it. I want to see it.
Karen Garlick is accusing her former customer, Ashley Satimi, of refusing to pay for the piglets she purchased. Ashley claims she received sick piglets and Karen owes for the vet bills.
Okay. But Press said, I don't know where. We'll give it to Sarah.
And
It should be 40 seconds.
So we're both at a loss with this because I haven't had this happen either. I understand where you're upset you lost the one. So please get a hold of me so we can get something worked out, because I understand your frustration, but you got to understand mine as well. I also have a loss. I shouldn't have got it stayed before it went, but that was my understanding is you wanted it done prior to going, and that's the discussion I had gotten from you. And so I went and got that done. Plus, you couldn't take her until after the 17th, so we had to arrange the shipping, after that point. So the other one's getting delivered also tonight. But, this kind of puts me in a predicament.
Just explain to me, this says, if I'm hearing correctly, that one of the piglets was spayed.
They both were spayed. The one that died was spayed. That's why it died, in my professional opinion. I went through 4 years of veterinary technology school as well.
Okay, so the one that died, the one that didn't make it in transit, was spayed.
Yes, correct.
Just a second.
And the other one.
And Bacon.
Evidence. Bacon and Hammy, whatever the first one she called.
Were both spayed.
Yes, I have documents from the vet.
May I see them, please?
That is not true.
And
I actually
receipt.
spoke with her, and she said
There's the
her
receipt.
son mixed it up.
Birth dates are on there from the
Just a
vet,
second.
and the
Just a
color and
sister.
everything.
Just a second.
I actually called the vet as well.
You can't tell me what the vet said to you. What color are the pigs that you got?
They are chipmunk color, but there are multiple in their litter. She tried selling me two.
Just to answer my question.
they're chipmunk
What are
color.
they? They're chipmunk
They're just
color.
brown, yep.
One of them striped
I'm not sure what you would consider
That's what
straight.
chipmunks is called, striped.
and red and white.
That was the one for sure.
They were both spayed on September 13th.
Correct.
Now tell me, you went to reverse all the charges that you had paid for her because you had paid her a certain amount of money, $3,750. Did you get all that money back?
No.
How much did you get back?
$3,000.
And then the Zelle account suspended that.
Just a second.
They took it from me, and they've got to suspend it because she claimed
Just
I
a
was
second.
fraudulent.
Just a second. She now has 2 pigs. What happened to them in her care is, as you understand, is not.
I have one.
I don't care whether you have one now, madam. I just told you you had 2 pigs that were healthy according to the vet. After you had had the replacement pig for over 10 days, it died after it had seen a vet that reported it healthy. You say it was 3 days. If it was the next day, I would say it was the shot the vet gave him that caused her to die. But you said it was 3 days later. I don't know what you fed it. I don't know what you did to it. I don't know who else took care of it. It's irrelevant. She's entitled to her money for 2 pigs. And if you had that reversed by the bank, you can't do that. You had a 90-day replacement for the pigs, and she replaced it, and she has received 0 money.
$750.
That's 0 money.
I don't have it. And I don't believe that it's on hold either.
It is.
Just a second. You don't have what?
The $750 I sent her, I did a dispute on it, and they said that because it was not fraudulent, she still has it.
For the $5,000 that these 2 pigs cost, you paid, according to you, $750.
That's correct.
Well, you owe her the rest.
For,
You owe her the money. I'm finding, now we're finished.
Okay.
Now we're finished with testimony, and I'm telling you that the death of one of the pigs, you have one, the death of the other one, happened in your care. Whatever it was, if you don't want to blame the vet, blame yourself, not her. You had a healthy pig when that pig went to the vet over a week after it arrived from her. So it's your fault, and you owe her the rest of the money. Did you get the $750 from her? That's either a yes or a no.
No.
No. You owe her $4,900 for the 2 pigs. Judgment for the plaintiff.
I
We're
have a
finished.
counterclaim.
It's dismissed.
This court is adjourned.
My slander.
It's
over.
dismissed.
Okay.
I tell you one other thing. If you post anything derogatory about her business again, she's going to see you back in court, either mine or somebody else's. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. Some people think they get something for nothing anymore, and it's just the way it is. People try to cheat you.
You know, I got 3 pigs from her. 2 of them died.
You know, I get so attached because I'm very passionate about my animals. I'm very passionate about my business and my customers.
And 2 out of 3, that's not a good record.
So this is just really heart set to me because
2 pigs dying, there's something goofy going on there.
anytime a little animal dies like that, I take heart.
Moral of the case, if you're going to spend thousands of dollars on a pet, have a contract in writing as to what your expectations are so that you have a price, you have whatever guarantees there are, you have whatever exchange policies there are. Because what happened in there is I had to create a contract out of
nothing, out of
text mails,
voicemails,
out of text messages. I agreed to pay. Yes, well, that's a meeting of the minds as to a term. But that's an unprofessional way of the plaintiff to deal with a business that is a substantial business if she has 18 pigs. And it's really not a smart way for the defendant, to whom money is important, $5,000 has to be important to her, would go into a business arrangement without a formal writing.
Yeah, and just a secondary point that I was thinking of is we would want that contract to exist for anything, for a car, for a transfer of funds, but especially you want those details and those guarantees for a life. You're talking about a living animal.
Right.
And I think that requires, from both ends, a lot more words, a lot more sign pages, something more.
It requires a contract.
A contract.
It requires a contract. And she's in the breeding business. She's been doing it for 18 years. She should have a contract.
Listing whatever her terms may be. Maybe it's you don't get a refund, but I'll send you, replacement. That's perfectly fine. But all of those expectations should be
in a contract. Did he pay any rent?
Never.
Show me.
I can't. I no longer have that bank account.
Well, and I no longer believe you.
All I have is what I have.
That doesn't help me at all.
This is Judy Justice. Amina Thornton is suing her former client, Donnie Alford, for dog registration papers, personal property, and an assault.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case number 3032, Thornton versus Alford.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, this case has so many tentacles to it. Let's deal with the simple ones first. Miss Thornton,
Yes, ma'am.
you have a music company.
Somewhat.
Tell me what exactly you do.
I'm a disabled veteran. With my husband, we have a trucking company, and I also breed dogs.
What do you have to do with music?
I had something to do with music.
Because that's how you connected with the defendant.
I initially connected with him. He was dancing. He does exotic dancing, and I went to a show.
So you were a spectator.
Yes.
And?
He led me on to that he did massages and he did different things, and he also made it known that he was trying to do music.
Was the show at a club or somebody's house?
It was a rented space.
And that's the first time you saw the defendant?
Correct.
Have you seen him again in that same kind of setting as an exotic dancer?
Once after the following year, in 2022, he invited me or asked me to come out and basically help him if he needed something, and he did need help that evening.
In between November of 2021 and what month in 2022?
That was March.
And March of 2022, had you built up a relationship with him?
Yes, ma'am.
And did there come a time between 21 and 22 that you had some sort of a music studio?
Yes.
And that's what I read in the papers. And what was the music studio for?
Artists to record.
Your Honor.
Did you...
Okay.
Did you rent it?
No, it was in my establishment.
What establishment?
It was an apartment that I rented out. It had 2 bedrooms. One of the rooms was a music studio, and it was for the use
it was
of,
an apartment
Yes.
that you rented?
Yes.
Where?
In Buckhead, Georgia.
When had you rented the apartment?
I rented the apartment in February of 2022.
In whose name?
My name.
Personal?
Yes, ma'am.
Not in a company?
No.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out what you rented a 2-bedroom apartment for. You were married, you have kids.
Correct.
Were you living with your husband?
Yes, well, we was estranged. We was separated.
Okay, so you were separated.
Mm-hmm.
And in what month and year did you and your husband separate?
In, I guess, January.
January of 2022.
Yes, ma'am.
It's like pulling teeth. And then you rented the 2-bedroom apartment. Did you ever live in the 2-bedroom apartment yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
So you lived in one of the bedrooms?
Yes, ma'am.
From when to when did you live in one of the bedrooms?
Up until June.
And then where did you go?
Back home.
You went back to your husband?
Yes.
Mr. Alford, did he live in that apartment?
He moved in February. He was homeless.
Just a second. So he moved in February. That's the answer.
Yes.
It's a 2-bedroom apartment. One of the rooms you said was a music studio.
Yes.
Was that one of the bedrooms?
Yes.
Did you and Mr. Alford stay in the same bedroom?
No.
That's a yes or a no. Let's just move on with it. Did you and Mr. Alford, when he moved in February, live in the same bedroom?
No.
Did he stay occasionally in the same bedroom?
Occasionally.
Yeah, all right. Did he pay any rent?
Never.
There was never an agreement for him to pay rent.
Yes, it was.
When? You're not suing for any rent.
That's because that's...
That's because that. Okay. Well, you're suing for a lot of other things, but you're not
Exactly.
suing him for rent.
No.
Okay. And he stayed there until when?
He stayed there under my lease.
Shh. Okay, what did he stay there? You moved out of your home
Yes, ma'am.
into this apartment in January of 2022. He moved into the apartment in February 2022. You moved out in June of 2022. I want to know when he moved out.
He moved out, I guess, in November when they gave him the eviction notice. But the lease was transferred into his name. He didn't have
just a
good
second.
enough credit.
Just a second.
So I transferred the lease into his name.
So you moved out in June and he stayed in the apartment?
Correct.
Okay. So far, is what she generally tells me through my questioning correct?
No.
With regard to the apartment?
No, ma'am.
Well, tell me your version, because this has nothing to do with the case, but has something to do with who I'm dealing with. Did you move into a 2-bedroom apartment, the lease of which was in the plaintiff's name?
No. She did help me, however, get the apartment. Her friend was a manager for the apartment complex, so it bypassed all, like, credit checks, all that. That got me
Mr.
directly...
Alford, I want you to pay careful attention to what I'm saying.
I'm sorry.
In February of 2022, was Miss Thornton also staying in the apartment?
No.
March 2022, was she staying in the apartment?
No.
Did she ever stay in the apartment?
Never stayed in my apartment.
Until what month and year did you live in the apartment?
I lived in an apartment when she first helped me get it, which was in 2022, and I just moved out. I currently...
Just a second. Just moved out?
Yes.
On what date?
Probably, I think it was like the end of this year. I'm currently still like a leaseholder there. She just texted me and asked me if I wanted to get my stuff out of the apartment.
Who did?
The leasing office.
Are you still there? That's either a yes or a no. Are you still there?
No.
Do you still have any property there?
Yes.
So then you're still there?
Yes.
So then you're still there. If you have property there, you know you're still there. What happened at the eviction hearing?
Amina Thornton claims her former client, Donnie Alford, assaulted her and refuses to return her dog's registration papers. Donnie is countersuing for the cost of French bulldogs and defamation.
Now, what happened at the eviction hearing?
They're aware of the situation.
Don't tell me what they're aware of. What happened?
Nothing happened. I'm letting them take ownership of the property. I'm giving it back to them.
When?
As soon as this case is over.
Why didn't you give it back to them when they evicted you? Have you been paying rent?
No.
Never.
She stated she pays the rent and I provide the artistry. Like, I do the art. I'm a performer. She pays the rent. That was our agreement. It's in my phone. I got it text message from her phone stating that during 2021 to 2022.
Is what you're saying the lease was in her name and she agreed to pay the rent? Well, then what do you want to show me?
It's in my name, but that's how I was paying the rent. She's giving...
She gave you the money?
Yes, she's giving from working. I'm the artist.
Never.
Just...
Can I show you the check?
Just to say, did you file tax returns in 2022?
No, ma'am.
I'm not asking you a question. Did you file tax returns?
Yes.
Yes. How much did you earn in 2022?
I never got anything back. My kids...
How much did you earn?
My kids get...
A ballpark figure.
Ballpark, $80,000.
Doing what?
Male entertainment, and then also, you know, the singing and stuff.
And now I'm going to move on because I'm getting really bored with this. I'm going to get first to the dogs. While you were in some sort of a relationship, and I know that you had to be in some sort of a relationship because you say so, right?
Yes.
Some sort of a relationship. And I don't know whether he was the cause of you leaving and moving into this or not. It's not particularly relevant. But one of the things, according to both of you, that you decide to do as a side hustle is breed little Frenchy bulldogs. Is that correct?
Correct.
In what month and year did you decide to do this?
He wanted a dog as a pet.
Just a second. Would you give me the answer?
Yes, ma'am. June of 2022.
At about the time that you were going back to your family, to your husband?
Actually, it was April of 2022. I'm sorry.
Okay. And according to you, you purchased 3 French bulldogs.
Yes, that he agreed to care for. Yes.
If you're going to answer my question with some more stuff, that's not going to be helpful to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you purchase them and how much were they?
They were all purchased from individual breeders. The first one was $4,500. The second one was $3,500, and the remaining one was $3,000.
Did you get them within a particular time period? A week, a month?
It got Crown, and then like 2 weeks later, got Royalty.
And this was starting in April?
I gave the deposit in April. That's why I said it actually started in April. I picked up the dog in June.
And do you have the name of that person?
Yes, I do.
Do you know that person?
I do.
Okay. Mr. Alford, do you know this person? Look at me.
No.
You do not. Are you acknowledging that the first puppy that was bought with a deposit in April?
Yes.
And the deposit was how much?
$500.
And that was to hold the puppy from that litter?
Yes.
And when you picked up the puppy, the remainder of the $4,000 was paid?
Yes.
Let me see proof that it was paid
Yes.
by you.
To go on my phone for Crown because he's not suing for Crown, so I didn't bring Crown's paper.
Is it a fact that you are not requesting the return of this dog, Crown?
No, she paid for him.
Fine. So that's easy. Do you have the paperwork for Crown?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So if you have the paperwork for Crown, that paperwork should be signed over to Miss Thornton, correct? Since you're not suing for the dog, you acknowledge that she paid for the dog. Okay. So can I see the paperwork for Crown?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have Crown registered. I don't need that paperwork.
Great. All right. Take that out. Now, the next dog you purchased was
Royalty.
Royalty?
Yes, ma'am.
When?
In June 11th of 2022.
Right before you moved home?
I moved home right after having a miscarriage. He had sent me a derogatory text saying thanks for paying the rent, and he had me distraught, and I got out of there. And that's when I wanted to turn the lease over to him and everything.
Getting it. Slowly. I want to know why you got the second dog at this period of time. You were still together.
Because he said, let's breed. That way I
Okay,
can
so
pay
you
some
had
of your
Crown
loan.
already. And how much was royalty?
Royalty was $3,500.
Who paid for that dog?
I did.
May I see the proof of that?
Yes, right here.
Do you acknowledge, Mr. Alford, that the plaintiff paid for the second dog? And if you do not acknowledge that, show me where you took the money from to pay for the second dog.
It's not a fact.
Okay.
I have letter from the breeder. I have a receipt.
No, I don't want to see letter from the breeder or
And I have the
receipts.
contract.
Listen to me. I don't want to see letter from the breeder. I don't want to see a contract. I want to see where you took out the $3,500 from.
I don't have where I took it out. It was cash deal. It was cash.
I don't care if it was cash. You don't have that much cash.
That-
You'd have somebody else paying your rent, sir.
That's not true.
So, just a second. You have somebody else paying your rent. You do not take $3,500 out if you can't pay your own rent to buy a dog. If you did, you have a bank account.
Okay.
And you'll show me where you took $3,500 out.
I no longer have that bank account.
Well, and I no longer believe you. Okay, good. So,
I'll show you my bank account.
shh. All this shows me, by the way, is a $500 deposit on June 11th.
And I have my
I'd like
bank
to
account
see.
because they only accept cash.
Just a second. Let me see where you took the money from.
Yes, ma'am.
You picked the dog up also in June.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'd like to see it. She's going to give you where she took the money from in June, and that would be $3,000 when she picked up the dog, or when she gave the money to the defendant to pick up the dog.
Thank you. Your Honor, where's 7,000 circled? Because I was supposed to get 2. I was supposed to get her and her sister. They were both $3,500. But he said that the same dogs had the same bloodline and that wouldn't be.
Did you get 2 from the same?
No, I got 1. And you can see where I gave
then-
him on the 15th $1,000.
Okay. Now, he says he has a contract. I don't want to see a letter.
Contract.
All I want to see is a contract that you said you had.
With the receipt? Can I send up the receipt as well?
You can submit a receipt, but a receipt says nothing. A receipt says you picked up the dog.
Amina Thornton has accused her former client, Donnie Alford, of assaulting her and keeping her dog's registration papers. Donnie claims Amina owes him the value of the French bulldogs.
I'd like to see what he has. He says he has a contract. I don't want to see a letter.
Contract.
All I want to see is a contract that you said you had.
With the receipt? Can I send up the receipt as well?
You can submit a receipt, but a receipt says nothing. A receipt says you picked up the dog.
Okay.
She has a contract for the sale of the dog. Canine contract. Now, she has seller's initials and buyer's initials.
And I also have a letter from the person at Breed stating that I was the
Just a
one-
second.
Okay.
I don't read letters from your friend. And that's who you said it was, correct?
No.
Just a second. That's who you said it was. Would you read that back to me? It's from a friend of mine. Is that what you said, sir?
There's two people that's listed
Just-
on the dog agreement.
Never mind.
The woman is not
Never
my
mind.
friend.
He said one of my dance friends.
One of your dance friends. Yeah, thank you. I knew with friend, but one of the dance friends. Okay, this dog's finished. This is royalty. What do you want to show me about royalty?
This is an email asking the breeder if she would give me the papers, being that he stole them.
No, I don't care about that.
Okay.
That's not only hearsay, it's not particularly relevant. What's the third dog's name?
Prince.
Who did you buy Prince from and when?
I brought him from Mr. in my town, in my county, on August 16th, I believe.
You had already moved back home.
Yes, ma'am.
To your family.
Yes, ma'am.
And he was at that time living in this 2-bedroom apartment.
Yes, ma'am.
May I see proof that you paid for Prince?
Yes, ma'am.
While she's looking for that, Mr. Alford, do you have any proof that you paid for Prince?
No, I do not.
Okay. Did Miss Thornton pay for Prince?
She paid partial of the money.
Did you pay any of the money?
Yes.
How much did you pay?
I think I sent over $2,500 for him.
Show me.
I can't. I only have the registration papers.
Well, I don't care about the
And
registration
she
papers.
knows I doesn't have my old phone to pull up the receipts.
Listen,
All I
listen.
have is what I have.
That doesn't help me, Mr. Alford, at all. The fact
understand.
I got what I got. This is what I got. I don't have that. We're not talking about 10 years ago. We're talking about bank records where you can pull up bank records. You don't need a phone. All you need to do is take your legs and go over to the bank and say, can I have my withdrawals, please, for August of 2022? We're not even in August of 2023. They will pull it up and say $2,500 in August. This is what you paid. You understand that, sir? You're a smart man.
Your Honor.
Not necessarily an honest man, but a smart man. May I see the proof, please?
This is the,
Shh.
Okay.
Just show him.
and that's the $2,500.
Okay. Okay. Now, what you are suing for are the papers
Yes.
for those two dogs.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You have any other proof that you want to show me with regard to the ownership of these two dogs that's not hearsay, Mr. Alford? Plaintiff has the physical custody of the two dogs. Is that right? All three.
September of 2022. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You have physical custody. You have any other proof that you contributed to the payment of the dogs?
No.
Okay, good. So that this
well,
court will.
unless you want the letter, and
Forget
you could verify the
Forget
letter.
it.
It's not. She's not my friend.
I don't care whether you paid the
Excuse me,
money,
Judge.
sir, whether you turned over the money. The question is, was it your money?
Yes.
Well, you have
It
no
was
proof
my
that
money.
you have no proof that it was your money. In any event,
Go
go ahead.
She doesn't even care about the dogs. I have proof that she said as soon as the dog has its last litter, I'm going to throw it in the trash and you could get her back. She doesn't care about the dogs.
Well, it's too bad then that you went into business with her. But she has physical custody of the dogs. There's nothing that I'm going to do about that, sir. You haven't had the dogs in your possession for almost a year.
I can't get them from her.
Well, that's
Your Honor,
There's
I've,
no
just
way
a
for me
second.
to get the
Just a
dogs from
second.
her.
I'm issuing an order to the AKC that this court makes the determination that the plaintiff is the owner of these 3 dogs, the 2 of which are in dispute right now, and that new registration papers should be reissued in her name.
in Your Honor.
Don't speak.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm finishing up with this because I'm almost done with it. Okay, I don't want to much hear about personal property. You now have the dogs in their possession. Did one of the dogs have a litter?
Yes, she did.
How many puppies?
5 5.
When were they born?
April 6th.
Any of them sold yet?
No.
Who's taking care of them?
Me.
Well, you're here. Who's taking care of them now?
My husband. I'm sorry.
All 3 dogs are still with you?
I have 5 dogs. Yes, ma'am.
You have 5 altogether. What
Yes, ma'am.
kind?
All French Bulldogs.
Okay, now let's deal with this assault. You want to tell me what the assault was about?
He was angry because I would not pay the rent anymore. Once the dogs became in my custody, which was September of 2022, I stopped paying rent. I stopped paying everything. And he began to request loans at that point.
You mean in person or on the phone or how?
Loans?
No. Were these demands made in person or over the phone? You moved out. You're now home with your husband and children.
I still would be in contact with him because of the music. So, yes.
Well, what did you have to do with the music?
I basically financed everything. I paid for everything. He had no money. He had this dream. He was homeless at the time. And I...
Okay, so you had an argument after you refused to pay the rent.
I have
and that
pictures
was
of his
just
stuff in trash bags.
Just a second. You had a disagreement about the rent.
Yeah.
In September of 2022.
It was more than the rent, ma'am.
Whatever you had a disagreement about, you say he assaulted you. Tell me where you were when this took place.
Actual assault took place in December. I was staying
December
away from
of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Where did it take place?
Assault on her or nothing.
What?
I never been charged with assault on her or nothing.
Where did it take place?
The assault took place in the apartment.
So you were there in the apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the circumstances. She posted nude pictures of you on the internet.
Nude pictures to my mom. It's been a whole year of this, of being harassed.
Your Honor.
Don't speak. A woman scorned will do nothing short of getting even.
This is Judy Justice. Previously on Judy Justice.
According to both of you, that you decide to do as a side hustle is breed little Frenchy bulldogs. You do not take $3,500 out if you can't pay your own rent to buy a dog.
He had sent me a derogatory text saying thanks for paying the rent, and he had me distraught, and I got out of there.
You had a disagreement about the rent in September of 2022.
It was more than the rent, ma'am.
Whatever you had a disagreement about, you say he assaulted you.
I never been charged with assault on her or nothing.
And now, the conclusion. Amina Thornton claims her former client, Donnie Alford, stole her property and owes her dog registration papers. Donnie says Amina defamed him on social media.
Okay. You say he assaulted you. Tell me where you were when this took place.
The assault took place in the apartment.
So you were there in the apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the circumstances.
The studio equipment and everything was still there. He was getting evicted, and I wanted the belongings back. I wanted the things to come back to me because they belonged to me, and that was the agreement. I have text messages. You stop paying everything. I have nothing. You hold the upper hand. When you leave, you won't have a problem bouncing back. You have your husband. I have nothing.
I see some just one or two of the texts. Yes,
ma'am.
Your Honor, can I say something?
Absolutely.
I'm not no homeless bum. I make money. I'm one of the top entertainers in Atlanta. So therefore, I do make money. I have my own money. When I met her, I was passionate about music. I took her on. And
took her on for what?
Because I liked her aggression when it came to getting stuff done. So I asked her to manage me. I had a job at the time. I had a place to lay my head at the time. It was her decision for me to stop working. And I have in a text message where she said the agreement was for me to pay your rent, take care of necessities, and don't exceed over anything over, I think, like $8,000 a month. So I was working, doing shows, doing that, and the money that she would put in my account and I was that was from me, that's actually like me working for being an artist.
I thought you were working.
The agreement was for me to stop working so I could focus strictly on music.
Well, that's good. You told me you were one of the top artists.
Yes.
So what'd you need her money for?
Top entertainer. So I stopped dancing and I focused nothing on music, recording as an artist, singing. So therefore...
So you stopped doing what you made money in, that's what you said.
Yes.
You stopped to focus on just singing.
Yes, because I had the financial backing to do it.
Mr. Alford, why do you think she was doing that, sir?
she did it because it was lucrative. At first, it was business. Then I seen that she started taking interest in me. She never stayed at an apartment, none of that. So, yes, I overlooked the interest part, but we still had a plan. Let's get this music done. I'll get my money on the back end from the music. And that's how it was. That's exactly how it was for the long run. Then she started getting emotional. Whenever I go out, then the personal started coming in. I started backing up a little bit.
Where did you get all this money to buy the dogs?
It was from money I already had from dancing, my side money, and then money that she was giving me from working. I'm an artist. That's if I ask somebody to do something, I'm an artist, right?
I actually have the whole picture, Mr. Alford. I have her whole picture, which is, sad, a little bit desperate. And I have your picture. I have the whole picture. She's getting her dogs back. Can I see the email, please, that you referenced, Ms. Thornton?
Yes.
Other than that, I'm ready to move on to his counterclaim. You're getting the registration papers for your 2 dogs. Do you have a police report?
Yep. I have my restraining order. I have an active restraining order.
Was there a hearing on the restraining order?
It's active.
Answer this question. Stop looking because you can't concentrate on my question. With regard to the assault allegation against the defendant, which took place in December of 2022, according to you, if there is an active restraining order, there had to have been either a consent by him for the restraining order or a trial.
Trial.
There was a trial.
Yes.
Did you testify at the trial?
I did.
Just a second, you're looking at papers again.
Yes, ma'am.
Did he testify at the trial?
She did.
Did the court, after the hearing, Mr. Alford, issue a restraining order?
Yes, they granted both. They told both of us to leave alone.
No. So what you're saying is you filed for a restraining order too?
Yes. No.
You did?
Yes.
No.
And then
Okay.
when she...
Shh. Mr. Alford, pay attention. This was my bailiwick. This is my home territory. She files for a protective order. She's going to show me her application for a protective order. She's also going to show me the final order of protection.
Yes.
I want you to start looking for your application for your protective order and your final order of protection.
I have my
Here you
phone,
go.
please.
Your phone? I don't want to see it in a phone. I want to see the order.
Oh, my God.
Amina Thornton has accused her former client, Donnie Alford, of refusing to return registration papers for her French bulldogs. Donnie is countersuing for the value of the dogs and online defamation.
This is 6-month protective order is what it says. What I don't have is a signed order by the judge.
Okay, I'll give that to you. Just 1 second, Your Honor.
May I please have, Mr. Alford, your application for a protective order, for your application where it says Donnie Alford against Amina Thornton and your final protective order.
No, so I didn't get a final protective order.
Well, she did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the judge told us both to leave
I don't
each other
care.
alone.
Don't tell me what the judge told you, sir. You're wasting my time. After the trial, the judge granted her a 6-month protective order.
Yes, both of us. Well, yes, her, yes.
Right.
Right.
Well, then I don't have to get into that. The judge already found that you assaulted her. Found the allegations, or some of the allegations that were true.
Some.
I don't care. Some or all. She's suing you for an assault.
Okay.
The court found that there was sufficient assault, menacing, threatening, or harassing to issue her a final order of protection for 6 months. You have no police report, correct?
No, I did not file a police.
Okay. And the medical records on which this assault was based, a visit to the doctor, anything else?
It's just the emergency room and the follow-up.
I'd like to see it. For what date is that?
That's just the bill, Your Honor. I couldn't get I can go into My Healthy Vet because I had to go to the VA.
This is a statement date. This was just this month.
I know.
Yeah, you just got this bill for this case. Okay, throw this away. Okay, now we're going to get to his counterclaim. Put all your papers away. On your claim, the court's going to issue an order, and the order is that the 2 dogs, you'll give the names of the dogs to the clerk and all the other materials so that the AKC will issue the registration papers in your name for those 2 dogs. He has a counterclaim seeking the return of the 2 dogs, which he's not getting, 3 puppies, which he's not getting because the dogs aren't his, and defamation of character. Now, Mr. Alford, you make a claim here that if true, is very problematic for her. You say that after this whole thing sort of broke up, the managerial relationship as well as the, albeit brief, social relationship, she defamed you by publishing someplace the fact that you have AIDS, carry multiple STDs, and hit women. So the court that heard the protective order may or may not have found that one of the actions that you did was hit women, so I'm going to forget about that in this. But I want you to show me proof that she published facts that you either have AIDS or carry multiple STDs.
So here's this.
Now just look at it carefully and make sure what you're giving me supports your statement that she alleged either one of those two things.
It's this one right here. It's the main one.
Just a second. Is that the only one that you have?
No, I have a lot, but that's the main one where
Not main one. Not main one. I asked you for anything that you have where she published that you either had AIDS or multiple STDs.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Don't speak.
That's the only one for the AIDS and STDs that
May
I
I
have.
see them, please?
Yeah.
I don't understand this one, Sarah. You can sort of explain that to me. This is what I have. AKA, this is author Amina Thornton. I see something that's ascribed to her with her name on it. This doesn't say that you have either AIDS or STDs, sir. This says that you are a domestic violent abuser. She says that you forced her to have sex. Thief, womanizer, trash can trash. He is a deadbeat dad. Do you have 5 kids?
He has 8 with 7 women.
Okay. So just a second. Do you have 5?
I have 5.
Okay.
8.
Police are going to be at this show to pick you up. Jarvis Alpha. Well, this isn't it.
I also have an e-blast that
This
she
doesn't
sent
say you
out
have AIDS.
saying that
What does that say?
This is somebody, I think, separate from the plaintiff that's messaging the defendant saying that this account that they screenshotted attributed to the plaintiff is replying under this third-party person's tweet saying that he has AIDS, a rapist.
That's okay. That's hearsay.
Abusive.
Okay.
I also have it where she did an e-blast, was saying that I was dead, I have herpes, and she
May I
sent it.
see that?
Yes, that's the whole e-blast letter.
May I see it? So far, these don't establish your cause of action for defamation. Would you show this to the plaintiff, please?
And my mom got that. She sent.
Did you say, just a second, did you write that?
No, I did not.
Well, who does it say wrote it?
It doesn't say I wrote it.
What phone number does it say it comes
Oh, this is my husband's number. And I have the text message right here where my husband has said, this is not my wife's phone, this is my phone.
Ma'am, if you go on the affidavit or the protection order that you got stated from her, under there we have to list our numbers as contacts. You could verify that she has that number on that contact list.
And me and my
Maybe.
husband live together.
Maybe. Okay. May I have it, please?
That's the text message that was sent to him in February.
Where's your husband?
Go find him.
Shh. Listen to me. Whoever wrote this, you or your husband, it's nasty. It's nasty, right? It doesn't say that the defendant has AIDS. You can't accuse somebody of that just to be spiteful. You don't in this, but it's just a nasty, nasty email. And you say it was not authored by you.
It was not.
Could have been authored.
He has sent my husband text messages saying that he has had sex with me, made love with me, all kind of stuff.
Oh, you know what? Are you and your husband still together?
I am.
Can I say
24 years.
24 years. All right. It was a mistake.
It was a very big one.
Big
a
mistake.
very big one.
It was a very big mistake, Ms.
Yes,
Thornton.
the biggest mistake of my life.
Yeah, very big mistake. Who are you living with now, Mr. Alford?
I stay with my girlfriend.
Is that your
No.
girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay. And what are you doing?
I breed dogs,
You breed dogs.
Frenchies, yes.
How many dogs do you have?
We have 3, but we currently have 2 French bulldogs and about to get another one.
I just feel sorry for all these dogs. It doesn't appear to me that it's really such a good hobby.
I'm not the person she's trying to make me out to, and I hope that you allow me to show you that.
Listen, Mr. Alford, I want you to clearly understand me. I'm not getting into extrinsic material, sir. She says you have 8 children. You say you had 5. If you have 5 children, and what you're saying is you spent thousands of dollars on dogs in the same time period where someone else is paying your rent so that you can develop your media career, how much money are you paying in child support, Mr. Alford?
I paid $25 for one child. And I paid
$25 or what?
$25 a month for one
A
child.
month, just a second.
And then I pay $145 for another child. And that's only because...
A month?
Yes.
A month. Well, I have to tell you, sir, I have a 4-pound Shih Tzu, and I couldn't feed her for $25 a week.
Amina Thornton claims her former client, Donnie Alford, stole her property and owes her dog registration papers. Donnie says Amina defamed him on social media.
Go.
I'm an excellent father. I take care of my business. I do that. If I was a bum, she wouldn't have came to me and either gave me money to do what I had to do. I'm not that character. I'm not that guy. I take care of my responsibilities. I've been taking my responsibilities before I moved to Atlanta.
You can't.
Yes,
sir.
I can.
On $25 a month, you're not supporting a child.
I'm excellent.
Don't speak. I want you to be quiet.
This is his
I
career.
don't want you to speak.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not the only thing I pay. I take care of my kids.
Tell me what you...
I take care of my
just
kids.
Just a second. How do you take care of your kids?
I provide for them.
How?
If somebody needs something, then I do it.
You mean like if they need a pair of sneakers?
If anything, I go get my kids. I have 2 kids. I came to Georgia because my kids is in Georgia.
Good. This is the ruling of the court. The ruling of the court is that we will notify AKC with regard to the...
Nothing about the defamation of character or none of that.
To the dogs. Sir.
My girlfriend is a teacher. She sent a letter to the superintendent and threatened that, oh, well, you have a rapist in the house, and sent letters and pictures, nude pictures to my mom, posted on internet. Like, I'm...
Just a second. Did you post nude pictures? Put it down. Put your thing down.
This is
Did you put
stuff I bought for his kid.
Do you understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
Now you're being annoying. Did you post nude pictures of him on the internet?
No, Your Honor, he has an OnlyFans account.
I'm dismissing your case the next time you say a word. Do you understand? I'm going to dismiss your case. You'll be without the registration for the puppies. Do you understand?
This is where she sent people the text message, and you can see it has a little nudity in it, but I didn't want to make it big, obviously, because we're in the courtroom. But you can see where I'm naked in here. She sent my military ID to people. It's been like this. And then I have text message where I tell her to leave me alone. And all she does is say, oh, not until I get my dog papers, not until this happens, not until that. You wanted an enemy. I have all of this.
He's never been in the military.
Do you understand what I said? I'm going to dismiss your case the next time you say a word.
I don't understand, man.
Just a second. The next time you say a word, I'm going to dismiss your case. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Mr. Alford, what you're claiming, sir, and I'm going to do this very quickly, what you're claiming, and I can imagine that this is a course of conduct that... What do you want?
I don't want anything.
Then take the finger down. I understand, Mr. Alford, that if what you're saying is that she's embarked upon a campaign to harass and embarrass you, look at me, Mr. Alford, what precipitated that? What precipitated this campaign of harassment? Because now you know how to go to court to get a protective order. Did you ever bring these allegations to the judge who heard the application for a protective order? That's either a yes or a no.
There is an open case that I can't discuss, but she has been locked up because she has came to my home and assaulted me and stuff like that and destroyed property. But
so, just a second. So, when you say there's an open case, where is that open case?
Fulton County.
Is it a criminal case?
Yes.
On what date was she arrested?
I don't know the exact date.
Do you know on what month and day and date you were arrested?
April 12th of 2022.
My God, you people. Was the issue with her the papers for the dogs?
No.
What was the issue? Because I think you said that before. She wanted the papers for the dogs.
The issue is that she wanted something from me and didn't get that. You know, because if it was the situation with just the dogs or anything, then she would have been left me alone. If I harassed her, if I raped her, if I did all this stuff to her, why is she still coming to me? I'm not coming to her. It's been a whole year of this, of being harassed. Your kids get involved. I didn't even know the dog had puppies. I don't follow her. She's sending me pictures of I got the dogs have puppies, woo, woo.
Well,
like all of this.
I'm going to explain something to you, Mr. Alford. You know, I could be wrong. I was last wrong in about 1947. I remember I ordered the wrong flavor ice cream from the Good Humor Man. You each wanted something different from this relationship. That's crystal clear to me. Whatever her motivation was, clearly was not your motivation. And eventually, the realization was, how old are you?
I'm 35.
How old are you?
46.
Okay. 46 doesn't go into 35. I learned that. 35 goes into 46. Okay? So eventually, it didn't pan out, and there's lots of bad feelings. Going into a business with Frenchies, I actually just feel sorry for the dogs. But if there was any irritant, Mr. Alford, any irritant whatsoever that involved the registration papers for the dogs, you should have let her have them.
No.
Because this is not a question, this is now a ruling. You should have let her have them because a woman scorned will do nothing short of getting even. Men are just happy to walk away. A woman scorned is a whole different thing. And what I'm telling you, sir, if the one irritant was giving her the papers for the dog, which there is no way you paid for these dogs a penny. No way you paid for these dogs. You weren't even paying your own rent. Anyway, the ruling of the court is you get the registration papers for the dogs. Everything else is dismissed. We're done.
This court is adjourned.
At first, it was just business, and then it started getting personal.
The main thing was my dogs. They are my family.
I had stuff tied to the dogs and business, and she had stuff tied to the dog, and we both didn't want to lose anything.
He chose to live on lies.
It's hard to see him go, but it's even more hard that I'm still out here as this bad guy.
And if you're living on lies, then truth is never going to prevail.
You know, be careful about who you work with.
The time he assaulted me, that's when we fell out and it became an issue.
I feel sorry for the dogs because that's what she's going to do. She's going to breed them and throw them in the trash, like she said.
I love my dogs. My kids love my dogs. And we take care of them.
I don't think anyone with that type of financial picture should be able to spend $3,500 per dog on Frenchies to take up a new breeding hobby, which, as we've seen, is not a hobby. That is a business, a profession that requires an immense amount of specialized knowledge.
And care.
And care.
Especially for that breed.
Especially for that breed.
People should really not take on as a side hustle breeding whatever dog there is of the month. It's not fair.
It's not a fad.
It's not a fad. You know, I can't even imagine the living conditions of the 5 dogs that the plaintiff has and the 5 puppies and the 3 that he now has with the new girlfriend. Find another side hustle. Take up crocheting. Agreement with her is that she could use the car.
Correct.
Did you have an accident with the car? Don't look up at the sky. Look right here.
Yes.
I assume that your girlfriend did not like the fact that your old girlfriend had the car. You don't have to be a genius to figure that out.
You're right.
This is Judy Justice. Kendall Ruiz and Isaac Thompson are suing Isaac's ex-girlfriend, Donna Schulte, for towing fees and car repairs from an accident.
Court come to order.
Oh, my goodness. Mr. Pasquarillo, you all seem to have a lot of things that you brought to me, and I actually think that you're all overthinking this case. I, however, am not overthinking it. It's relatively simple. You rented a room from the defendant in a house that you own.
Yes, ma'am.
It didn't work out. They didn't like he and his girlfriend. Fiance. Didn't get along with you. You didn't get along with them. You had problems with each other's lifestyles. You are no longer there, and you want your security deposit back, which I, of course, will entertain. But you're asking for emotional distress, nuisance, filing a false restraining order, harassment. That's not happening. I want you to get over that. You had a tendency that didn't work out. And if it didn't work out and if you didn't do anything to the property, you're entitled to your security deposit back. You moved in when?
December 1st.
What do you do for a living?
I own a company.
What kind of company?
It's a janitorial company.
For how long?
Approximately 9 years.
Do you have employees?
Yes.
How many?
Approximately 20.
You pay him on the books or off the books?
On.
Was this an interim room that you were renting from him, or were you planning on staying here for a long time?
It was a 6-month lease.
Is there any reason why you took a room, if you have a company for 9 years with 20 employees, that you pay on the books, that you were living in a room?
Yes, I'm going through a divorce. I moved to Los Angeles 2007 and got with my wife for 15 years. We're going through a divorce, and during the pandemic, she was raised in Riverside, so I had to follow her all the way to Riverside because she has 3 of my children. I don't have any family or friends here on this side of the country. I'm from Florida. So I was by myself, and I had to rent a room by myself.
And the children stayed with their mother in the house, in your property?
Yes, we are currently going through a custody battle.
So what you're telling me is that a room was what you could afford?
That's all I could afford at the moment.
Okay.
We're still going through community property.
Okay. So you found his room.
I was moving from one house to another because they were selling their home. The housing market is very, very bad right now. It's very hard to find rent in what I can afford. So I found his, along with 2 others, and I liked his location, and I moved in under the lease agreement that he presented to me.
Okay. So he presented a lease agreement to you. You signed it. You have a copy of it?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it.
Your Honor, there's a couple of discrepancies with
Just a second.
Sorry.
I didn't ask you anything yet. There were no discrepancies. He rented a room from you and he signed a lease. I asked him to see the lease.
He started moving his belongings in November 13th of 22.
And?
And he officially moved himself in on December 1st.
Why is that important?
When he moved in, he brought a refrigerator into the house that was infested with roaches.
Just a second. Do you have a copy of the lease?
Yes, I do.
I'm trying to go through it. I have so much here that...
I know, you have a lot there.
Okay. Here it is. I found it, by the way.
All right, there's a very big lease with your signature on it on November 7th. Okay, so now I have the lease. You moved in on December 12th. When did you move out?
When my girlfriend got back from her trip from Spain and Italy is when I was able to move, because she was able to help me. I couldn't do it by myself. I don't remember the exact date.
You have the date when he moved out?
Yes. So I have a timeline here. 4/21, he moved out, and at that point, he still had not-
4/21.
Yep.
And what was the monthly rent, sir?
$1,000.
And how much was your security?
$500. If I could say, Your Honor, I'm not here because we had a little spat.
No, I know you didn't have a spat. It was a terrible 4 months.
It's a breach of a lease, Your Honor. I mean, they had 3 rules. It says it right here in his lease, 3 rules and regulations. And on the 17th, I got a new set of rules. Then I was only told I can do my laundry once a week. Then I was told that my girlfriend couldn't stay past 9 o'clock. The rules were changing as they went on, making my life a living hell.
Well, then you move. How old are you?
I'm going to be 50, and this
You're
is my
going to be
very
50.
first...
Just a second. You're going to be 50.
Yeah.
Okay. And, you know, rules are what people live by. I assume that that's one of the reasons that you're going through a divorce and you have custody, unless it was a girlfriend or a boyfriend. I don't know which one it was, and I actually don't care. What I'm telling you is, if something is terrible and you're 50 years old, you say, I'm done here. I'm leaving.
I was going to do that, Your Honor. I was looking for places to stay. The housing market is almost impossible in my...
So what is... That's not his fault. That's your fault.
It's not his fault for taking away my quiet peace and enjoyment of life? Filming me with my cameras in the house, not telling me I'm being monitored?
Let me explain something to you, sir. You're a big boy. I say this to people all the time. You don't like where you're staying? Move.
I could.
Sometimes I have sympathy for somebody who is really down and out, and they say, I really can't cobble the money together to find month's rent and a month's security. I was trying to save my money. That's not in your case. You've had a business for 9 years with 20 employees who you pay on the books, and you have 3 children. So that's not your situation. What I'm telling you is, not everything is a lawsuit. And I know that you're suing him for $10,000 because he violated the peaceful enjoyment of your life. Okay? Move.
Scarello claims his former landlord Brandon Hubbard, destroyed his property and harassed him. Brandon is countersuing for pest control fees and filing a false restraining order.
You're a grown man. You run a big business. You're not supposed to stay in a place that's terrible.
Judge, the business is in community property right now, and
I don't care. That's not his fault.
I don't own the full business. I don't get the full money.
Hey, I'm telling you, I asked you what you did. You said, I own a business. I have 20 employees. It's a janitorial business, and I needed a place right away. I took his room, and what I'm telling you is, you have a car?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Where does your girlfriend live?
She lives 2 cities away.
Okay, well.
But there's another aspect of this, Your Honor. That's why there's so much evidence up here. I was being harassed so much that I didn't know what to do anymore. I was given advice by an attorney, stop paying him, and you will deal with it when you go to the unlawful detainer hearing, and we'll see if it gets solved there.
You went to an attorney? Just a second.
Yes.
You consulted with an attorney who gave you advice?
Yes.
Is this an attorney that you knew who worked for you? Or is this someone that you found that was a specialist in this field of landlord and tenant?
It's someone that was a specialist in this field. Problem is, this is Riverside and this is Los Angeles. He's a Los Angeles.
I don't care. Now, lawyers don't work for free. What did he charge you?
Nothing. It was a consultation.
Charged you nothing for a consultation?
It was a 20-minute conversation.
20 minutes?
Yes.
I get a bill for 20 minutes for $750. I don't know how you got your consultation for nothing. So, and I don't necessarily believe it, but I actually find it amusing for a lawyer to tell you, well, stop paying rent, and you'll deal with it when you come up with an unlawful detainer because you are staying without paying rent.
Your Honor, I filed an incident with Fair Housing. I called the police 4 times.
I'm telling you to move.
I couldn't move, Your Honor.
What are you?
I couldn't move. I couldn't
Okay,
move.
Mr. Pascarella, I can't help you, sir. You want your security deposit back? I have to see if you left a mess. If you didn't leave a mess, then you get your $500 security back. Except, I have a question. Did you pay December's rent?
Yes, yes.
Did you pay January's rent?
Yes.
February?
Yes.
March?
You did not pay February.
Don't speak. Sorry. March's rent.
I didn't pay March or April, but it was already litigated.
No. I don't care. You moved out April 21.
Yes.
Did you pay March's rent? I'm going to ask you for proof.
I don't believe I paid March's
Okay,
rent.
so you didn't pay March's rent of $1,000. So already you don't get your security deposit back.
But he was already awarded this in a previous case.
What? Previous case?
In the previous case, he was awarded in the unlawful detainer hearing. The judge granted him March and April.
Oh, so he got March and April's rent?
Yeah, he got March and April. He didn't receive it.
And
yet.
just a second.
Yeah.
Did you pay him March and April's rent?
No, I haven't. Not at the moment.
Well, I'm not an appellate court. You have to go get that from someplace, sir. You have to get that from him. You have to file a judgment. You have to attach his business. You have to do what you have to do. If the judge awarded you March and April, which I would have considered. Anyway, Mr. Pascarella, I'm done with your case. I'm going to get to the counterclaim. You're not entitled to security deposit back because you didn't pay rent for 2 months. Okay, now let's get to your counterclaim. You had a hearing before a judge in an unlawful detainer?
Yes, we did.
Okay, and you testified? Speak.
Sorry.
That's either a yes or a no. Did you testify?
Yes.
Somebody say, raise your right hand and you swear to tell the
Yes.
truth? And judge asked you questions?
Yes.
And you answered questions?
Correct.
Did the same thing for him?
Yes.
And they ordered him to pay the 2 months' rent?
Yes.
And then he left?
Yes.
And he's no longer living with you as of April 21st?
Correct.
Okay. What did you tell that judge that he owed you aside from rent? Is not an answer. What did you tell the judge that he owed you other than March and April's rent?
I told the judge that he owed me for the court harassment hearings.
Now, just a second. I'd like to see where you not from a book that you have.
Sorry.
Show me where you told the judge other things that you were claiming he did, including the parking fines in the development.
So this is everything that he owes me here.
I didn't ask you for everything he owes you. That's not what I asked you. I said, what did you tell the judge in the previous hearing that he owed you?
I only asked for the back rent due.
Oh, so what are you showing me?
This was for the small claims case.
Just a second. So after you went before a housing court to get him out because he hadn't paid rent, you went to small claims court.
I was just responding to a civil case that he had filed against me.
Well, his civil case is dismissed. Okay?
That's what
He hasn't paid a judgment that he owes. May I see that, please?
Your Honor, he also asked the judge. Okay, he also, okay.
Just a second.
Sure.
Okay. Value of the remainder of the lease. That you're not getting.
Okay.
You happy to see him go?
Yes.
Great, he's gone. Court filing fees. I may think about that because he stopped paying rent on the advice of some idiot lawyer that he followed, this man who owns a business. Sheriff's filing fees. What fees were that for? For the unlawful
to serve
detainer?
him the eviction paperwork to post it on the door.
Crisis management fees. What is that?
That was for my advice to with the lawyer.
You don't get that. A valve that went over something?
Oh, his parking ticket.
Yeah, he got a parking fine when he was living there.
Oh, well, I have that. A parking fine.
Yes.
Are you responsible for that?
Yes, I already paid it. I have
All
a
right,
receipt
can I
here.
see how much was the parking fine?
The parking fine was $50.
Okay. Did you know that you got a violation, sir, Mr. Pasquarella, when you were parking?
Yes, Judge, I would love to explain that. In one of the text messages that I have, Allie, his fiance, threatened to have my car ticketed. I had been living at Canyon Lake for 3 years. I had never even came close to getting a ticket. Ironically, 2 weeks later, I get a ticket right after she threatens to have my car ticketed to the POA. Now, to my understanding, she's been in Canyon Lake for a very, very long time, since she was a little girl, and she has relationships there. I
don't know that. You can't prove any of that, sir. You got a
either,
ticket.
So
You got a ticket. They have a picture. You have a car that the license plate is.
I also have a text message of her saying she's going
Just
to
a
get my
second.
car
I'm just
ticketed.
asking you whether that's your license plate.
Yes, it is.
Keith Pasquarello has accused his former landlord, Brandon Hubbard, of destroying his property and harassing him. Brandon is countersuing for breaching the lease and filing a false restraining order.
This is a filing fee for small claims court. That you're not getting.
Your Honor, I wouldn't have to have
Writ
any
of
of this money out
possession
of
is
pocket.
$40. Is that what you're talking about, the writ of possession?
Yes.
That you're entitled to because he stopped paying rent. So far, he owes you $90 for the filing fee.
And then I have another receipt for no return of the POA ID card or the POA decal for his car.
What is that?
Because we live in a gated community, you have an ID card that they give you and a decal that they put on your car so you don't get tickets. Or if you do get a ticket, they know whose house to send it to. And that was $100 each, and I have a receipt for that.
Can I see what he's showing you?
And it says his name right at the top.
Did you pay this bill?
I did.
Would you please, Kevin, show this to the plaintiff? You know what that's for? It's your name on it.
It's a POA card. That card was thrown away in the trash. I mean, I don't have no use for it.
Then that's a problem. Then you owe him $200. That's $290. Anything else, sir?
I believe that the small claims fee is...
Forget it. I'm not giving you the small claims fee. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
I lost another tenant due to Keith's behavior.
Let's go. Let's go.
And
let's move on. Move on.
He owes me $900 in lost rent from that other tenant.
No, he doesn't.
Because he's
I
scared.
said let's move on.
Okay.
So far, he owes you $290.
And the court harassment filing fees. They're charging me $450 to respond to a restraining order that he put forth.
Oh, just a minute. Did you file a restraining order against him?
I sure did.
Okay. And when did you file that?
I don't remember the exact date.
Do you have the date? If you don't remember the date, do you have
It was
the
January
date?
28th.
January 28th.
That was the day I was served with the paperwork. And
of
my,
2023.
Yes. My witness was also served with one, too.
Just a second. Here's my question, Mr. Pasquarella. You moved out in April of 2022?
23, he moved out.
23. And when did you file this harassment case against him for an order of protection?
I don't remember the exact date.
Well, can I see the papers, please?
I believe I have them here.
When the harassment wouldn't stop, I filed a restraining order.
Okay, so March 27th. That's a response. Hold on. Let's see if I have the actual filing date.
Can I see it, please?
Here's the receipt for the $145 for the evictions process.
I can't hear a word you're saying, sir. I'm reading.
Okay.
Well, this is your filing against him.
So I did file one a month later once he started getting aggressive.
Okay, so he filed one and you filed one. So you both bothered the courts.
Yes.
Both of you. What happened with those cases?
His was...
Don't speak from your chair. Do you hear me? What happened with those cases?
They were both dropped.
Mine was dismissed by the judge.
Were they both dismissed?
Yes, they were both dismissed.
That's the answer. You owe him, Mr. Pasquarella, $290. We are finished. Your claim is dismissed. Goodbye.
This court is adjourned.
Throwing my property away, blaming me for a roach problem they already had.
He moved a little mini fridge in that apparently was roach infested.
I was done with it months ago, many months ago, but unfortunately I couldn't move. I'm in a town where, I don't have any friends or family to help me. I just met my girlfriend, and I'm not going to bring this luggage on her. So
he was trying to squat for free in order to save money to move somewhere else. I don't know what he was trying to do.
I'm ready to move forward, but the thing I'm disappointed about is not even the money necessarily. It's about there's no protection for tenants.
Watch out and really understand your lease before you sign it.
Sarah, I understand that you don't completely agree with the premise that I start from.
Sure.
If you hate where you're living and you have any capability at all, you shouldn't stay there. And then if you leave and your landlord sues you for breach of the lease because you've moved out, and if you have a legitimate reason why you moved out, that you were being harassed, that your landlord was a peeping Tom, that he would come into your house at night and go through your underwear drawers, whatever it was, and we've had all of those, then you entertain that and say you hate an absolute right to break his lease. I don't get, and the example that I always give and have given for a quarter of a century is, if you go to a restaurant and you order a sirloin steak and the waiter brings it over and you cut it and you taste it, you say, oh my God, this steak is bad. And you proceed to finish the steak, and when the bill comes, you say, it was the worst steak I ever ate, I'm not paying the bill. Not in my world. In my world, if you cut into the steak and say, you know what, I'm not eating this steak that costs $42, bring me a bowl of Cheerios for $12, that I can understand, and that's fair. But if you stay in the house and eat the steak, and there's not something that really prohibits you. I mean, if you're somebody who's challenged and you're living in a small group home, and it's not easy for you to find another facility, that's a whole different ball of wax. This is a man who says he's a CEO of a company with 20 employees. That's what he told me. And he's living in a place where he feels harassed and his girlfriend can't stay past 9 o'clock. I have zero sympathy for that.
I can appreciate that. I think just the undertones, this particular situation, I may agree with you a little bit more after hearing your reasoning, but I do think it can be more challenging than you and I realize on occasion to move. I mean, that can be a big deal. And of course, he held himself out as a CEO with 20 employees in what he said was successful business. I'm thinking that wasn't the case, and he was a little maybe too embarrassed to state that, but that was my position. So
yeah, but that's the answer.
If you have the opportunity to leave, that's what you should do. I agree with that.
And he left. And he came here with his girlfriend. Now, I don't know if they're living in the same place now, but certainly she would come to visit him. That was one of the things that he was objecting to, that you couldn't stay past 9 o'clock. Well, so you put your tushy in the car and you go to her house, which is 2 cities away. I have zero sympathy. If you ate the steak, you're supposed to come. Miss Julie, what kind of work do you do?
I do personal training and anestheticians.
And how long have you been doing that?
I just started personal training this May, and I've been doing lashes since 2018.
You've been doing what?
Lashes.
Lashes?
Esthetician, yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
Since 2018.
Okay. Mr. Quinones was a short-term boyfriend.
We were never together. We were dating.
You were dating?
Dating.
Dating sufficiently that he asked you for, according to you, some money for an investment that he wanted to make. According to you, he asked you for a loan, and that loan was for $10,000.
Correct.
In what month and year did he ask you for this loan?
August 2021.
And how long had you known him in August of 2021?
About a month.
You know that doesn't sound terribly intelligent to me, and you look like very intelligent.
It wasn't very
person. Okay, so you knew him for a month. He asked you for $10,000. And he told you it was for a business that he was thinking about going into. And that business was buying and then reselling cars.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. And according to you, you gave him the $10,000 and he was supposed to pay you back. He never did. Now he's not your boyfriend anymore. You want the money back. Where did you get the money from to give him?
I just saved it.
You have proof of that?
Yeah.
Miss Julie, I'm not invested in your story so far. You understand that?
Yes.
Because if he asked you for an investment in August of 2021, that's what you said.
Yes.
And he asked you, according to you and according to his answer, $10,000, right?
Well,
according to you, according to his answer, she sent me $10,000. And he acknowledges that. He acknowledges that you sent him $10,000. You know who doesn't acknowledge that? Moi. I do not acknowledge that. Now, in August of 2021, you sent him $3,605. Do you know that I don't believe that that was $10,000 for a bunch of cars and investment? Then you didn't send him money again, according to this. You sent him $200 the end of October. Then you sent him another $200. Then you sent him $100. Then you sent him $2,500, and it says in that for car. Not the other. It says in that one, for car. That was, oh my God, it looks like it was sometime in October, although I don't have dates on this one. Now, if you're going to try to convince me that this was a $10,000 loan that you made to him, you're going to have to show me contemporaneously with this August 2021 some communication with him. Okay?
Okay.
This is August 11th. Where's my moolah? Would that be you?
I sent that.
August of what year?
21.
August 11th of 2021, you say, where's my money? What are you talking about?
The $5,000 that he promised for the car. When he sold the car, he was going to give me $15,000 back.
You hadn't given him that money in August of 2021.
I did. It just doesn't say the dates.
No, this doesn't say anything about $10,000, madam.
They're broken up, that's why.
I understand it's broken up, but it's broken up in October.
No, that's on top of the $10,000.
What? Well, just show me the $10,000.
Well, it's broken up, so I highlighted it.
You have $2,500, but it's listed under October dates. I don't understand this 3605. What was $3,605 for, Mr. Quinones? Do you remember?
I don't remember that number, no, Your Honor. I don't remember what it was used for.
She sent you other monies over a period of time, $200, $100, $200. What was that for?
The smaller amounts, Your Honor, those were probably just when we were dating and we were sending money back and forth to each other.
Well, show me that you were sending her money.
No, he was just always asking for money.
Well, why were you giving it to him?
Because I felt bad because he was broke and he said he couldn't buy his daughter Christmas presents.
So what?
In October.
I'm a giver.
Well, then what are you coming to court for?
To get my loan back that he said he was going to pay me back.
Really? He said he was going to pay you back?
The little amounts are nothing. That's nothing to me.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah.
You understand that. That I am actually getting you. However, you loaned him money, according to you, in August of 2021. He didn't pay you back. You asked him for money because you said he sold a car, right? And he never sent it to you, right?
Yes.
And after that, you sent him more money.
Yeah.
And kept sending him money for months. So each time you sent him more money, he never made one payment on this alleged loan.
Because he's a narcissist and he love-bombed me.
He what?
Love-bombed me.
What is that?
It's a term that narcissists do and they pretend that they're somebody else, like making promises.
Well, that's an old story, but that's not a court case. If you give him money and he says, this is for this, when I sell a car, I'll give it back to you. That's great. And then he sells a car, he doesn't give you any money, and then you give him more money. And he still doesn't give you any money, and he needs more money. So you send him more money. At some point, you have to say to yourself, this is not a loan anymore. This is my own stupidity.
Rebecca Dooley claims her ex-boyfriend, Isaiah Quinones, sold multiple cars that she paid for and kept all the money.
Now, you have to say to yourself, this is not a loan anymore. This is my own stupidity, right?
Yeah, well, he was telling me that he was going to get a check coming in the mail. He sent me like screenshots. He was on the phone with some people that owed him a check that he sent me, that they were going to give it to him.
Mr. Quinones, what were you supposed to do with this money?
I was supposed to purchase vehicles to flip them and earn money on them.
Is that what you told her?
Yes, ma'am.
I see that you have a paucity of evidence in front of you, which means very little evidence in front of you. How many cars did you buy?
I bought 2, Your Honor.
When?
In August of that year.
Okay. And how much did you pay for them?
Altogether, it was $9,500 that came out to you in total.
And how much did you sell them for?
I actually lost money on them, Your Honor. So I actually ended up getting back about $8,000.
And how much did you put in, sir, of your money into the $9,000 that you spent on the 2 cars?
Nothing into the $9,000?
Fine. So you put nothing into the 9 and you got back 8.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that 8 was her money.
Yes, Your Honor. And we.
So that 8,000 was her money. Your investment was losing, but so far you're ahead of the game, $8,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right?
Yes.
So far you got $8,000 in your pocket. You put in zippity doo dah.
Yes, ma'am.
And keep going.
The next time around.
What do you mean the next time around?
So I told her I was going to purchase more vehicles.
Yeah, and
I actually put some of my own money in at that time as well. So I put back in another $2,000
Just
myself.
a second. And how much did you spend for those cars?
It came out to $10,000 altogether.
$10,000 altogether?
Altogether.
Okay. And of that $10,000, $8,000 was hers?
Yes.
And what'd you do with those cars?
I sold those vehicles, Your Honor.
And how much did you sell them for?
Altogether, both cars came out to about $7,500. So I lost money on
So you're a lousy businessman, sir.
I was at selling cars, yes.
You were a miserable businessman at first, and you were, according to you, your track record is consistently miserable.
Yes, Your Honor. That's why I got out of that and stopped selling cars.
Okay. Let's say I believe you. Is that what you told her? You ended up losing money on both things?
Yes.
Because that's what you said.
Yes,
you
Your
said it was an investment, not a loan. But we didn't make money.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right? But so far, if I take your figures, you had $8,000 of her money.
Yes, Your Honor.
You put in $2,000 of your own money and then bought cars for $10,000. Sold those cars for $7,500. So best case scenario, if you take back your $2,000 investment, you still have $5,000 of her money.
Yes, Your Honor. And this was never an issue because, like Rebecca said, we were supposedly just dating, but it was an actual relationship we were in. And we actually started getting closer. I had a job on the side as well, but during that time, I was on family leave because I ended up having kidney stones. So I was in the hospital a lot. And I was letting her know, like, hey, I'm trying, but it's not working right now. And I ended up losing money on our investments.
You lost money, but you ended up with money in your pocket.
Yes, Your
Do you
Honor.
understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If she got back all the money she put in as an investment and you were out $2,000, and I don't believe you actually put in $2,000. You have any proof that you put in $2,000?
I don't have that bank account anymore, Your Honor. And
you don't have that bank account. I don't have that cell phone that got erased.
She says I keep secrets or I'm a liar. I honestly know I'm not a liar. Maybe a bad businessman, but
you're
not a liar.
You're a bad businessman, and you're also, a little bit of a con guy. Mm-hmm. You're also a little bit of a con guy, because if you have a girlfriend and you say, listen, I want to do something for an investment, and you try it out and it doesn't work out and you have losses, and so far, you don't have any losses. She has losses.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Miss Dooley, you know what that sounds like to me? It sounds as if you made an investment, not a loan. And you were hoping for 2 things. You were hoping you could keep him, although I don't know why. You were hoping you could keep him, but you were also going to make money. But then he didn't sell the cars for what he said he was going to sell the cars for. You kept giving him money. Now, you can't, even if it was an investment, you can't keep her money.
Yes.
If you lost money on the cars, did he ultimately tell you he lost money on the cars?
No, he said that he sold the cars.
Did he tell you for how much?
No, he just said the car's already sold. So that's why I was waiting for my money. That's why I said, where's my money?
Yeah, but then you kept dating him and giving him more money.
Yeah.
Okay. If I believe you, bought the cars, sold the cars, you lost money, but you still ended up with cash in your pocket.
Yes, Your Honor.
How much?
It was about $7,500.
That's what it was, according to the math.
Yes, Your Honor.
Judgment for the plaintiff, $7,500. Even if it was an investment, she's entitled to it if you lost money. She's entitled to her money back.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're a smart lady. You're a business person. You work hard, you know.
I know. The love bombing. I was vulnerable.
I would say we both were vulnerable.
Yeah, but you were vulnerable. You got richer.
I understand that, Your Honor. I understand where you're coming from, what you're saying. But that money, at the end of the day, we were together. I found out she was actually married at the time or had her husband at the time. She ended up leaving her husband for me.
And?
We ended up not together. The money thing wasn't an issue the whole time we were together. The money thing wasn't an issue.
I understand, but you said to me, sir.
No, yes,
Mr.
Your Honor, I
Quinones,
understand.
you said to me in your answer that this was a business investment. She says it was a loan. I don't believe that. I don't buy it. And ordinarily, I would just say goodbye, your case is dismissed. But I think she did give you money, and I think you did use it to buy cars. I think you actually were together. But you ended up making a profit. She had the loss. And that's unfair in a business relationship, if that's what you say it was. $7,500. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're finished.
This court is adjourned.
I understand where the judge is coming from and saying that I owe her that money.
Yeah, I just ended up falling for it because I was in a vulnerable state.
I didn't agree with me being a con man.
The truth is he's a liar, and he's a narcissist, and he's a scammer and con artist.
For the 7-8 months we were together, there was no issues. And it wasn't until we broke up that all of a sudden there's an issue.
So I got mixed up with the wrong person.
I've been here a while now, and we've seen this scenario over and over. I don't think I've seen a single successful investment loan from a woman to a man where it worked out positively for
We don't see those here,
for the woman.
As she said, and we were talking back here, you were trying to explain to me the term
Love bombing.
Love bombing. Do it one more time.
From what I understand, I'm not an expert on the matter, but it's when your partner shows you affection or gifts or trips.
You mean a new partner?
No, a very new partner. And there's some psychological explanation as to why it has the other person completely off guard and fully trusting of that person who's doing that. And then they slowly start to retract that love and affection, leaving the other person sort of...
With a lighter bank account.
Yes.
Well, that's what she said happened to her.
Case number 3007, Lacey versus Mayo. All parties, please step forward.
Courtney Lacey is suing her former friend, Marcus Mayo, for business products, lost wages, and harassment.
Right, Ms. Lacey, there's a whole story here that really doesn't necessarily impact on the bare bones facts of this case. The bare bones facts are you met the defendant on TikTok.
Correct.
And you were in the beard business. That is, you made products for men, for their beard.
Yes, ma'am.
I assume that jar that's there for show and tell is one of them.
Courtney Lacey claims her former friend, Marcus Mayo, threw away her beard products without permission. Marcus is countersuing for rental car charges and lost work.
Now, the defendant traveled to where you live from what state to what state?
Connecticut to Ohio.
In order to help you at a fair to sell your product.
Yes, ma'am.
When? What month and year?
My event date was April 1st of 2023, and he did come in today.
So around April of 2023 is when you went to the fair, and there was a fair. I don't know whether you sold products or not, but you went with her.
Yes, ma'am.
Was there a business arrangement? Were you supposed to get any financial remuneration, or were you just meeting this person in the flesh that you had met on TikTok?
Nothing was talked about. We just showed up and winged it.
Okay. And then whatever happened, you were leaving and going back to Connecticut.
Yeah.
And when you left, you took some product with you.
I was given the product.
But you took some with you.
Yes.
I didn't say you stole it. You took some product in your car,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes.
Tell me what you took in your car.
It was a couple of cases. I believe what she said was 78 jars of a product.
78 jars of her product.
Mm-hmm.
How many had you sold at the fair?
I sold about 3 at the vendor's event.
You sold 3?
Yes.
I also donated $40.
I don't care. 78 jars is what you took home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what is the retail cost of these 78 jars?
$25 a jar.
And what is your cost? You're in business. To make that jar, what is the jar and the product? How much does it cost?
With everything put together, it cost me roughly around $6, $7. Just depends on what scent I'm using.
So say it costs you $6 a jar. That would be $468. Okay, you're suing him for $3,600, so that's ridiculous. So he took this product, and at some point, you wanted it back.
Yes.
So when did you tell him you wanted it back?
When I seen that he was bashing me on social media once he left, I wasn't aware that he felt some type of way. I asked
Just tell me what date it was that you wanted it back.
It would have been April 3rd.
And did he tell you that he would send it back if you paid for it?
He did several times.
He did several times say, I'll send it back if you send me.
Yes.
And did you?
He said that he was going to go to the UPS store and overnight it. I told him I did not have overnight money. And then he told me he was going to throw my product away, that he wasn't going to mess with it.
And that was in April. What'd you do with the product, Mr. Mayo?
I held on
No, it's April. That's not a long time ago. How long did you hold on to it?
I held on to it for a week. The following Monday, I heard nothing from her. She blocked me on everything. I said I'd give her 2 days to give me a call, let me know what's going on.
Do you have that in messages?
Every message between us that whole morning is right here.
By the way, what were you going to do with these 78 jars?
She wanted me to sell them for her and give her the money. I was under the understanding that I was going to.
Shh. Did you say to him, throw it away, I'll report it as stolen property?
After the numerous threats
Just a second.
telling me.
Did you say that to him?
Yes.
Okay, so sounds that to me, and I've read the papers, and the text messages between you seem to support the idea that he came for a few days, you rented a car.
I rented the Tesla.
How much was the Tesla to rent?
Rented me about $1,400. I have the actual.
Okay, no, I'm not entertaining your counterclaims, sir.
Okay.
Your counterclaim's nonsense. But he rented a car to come to help you. You hadn't actually met him before.
Right.
And when he came, your children were someplace else for the event, for the weekend, or you thought for a few days, and he was going to stay with you on your sofa. That's what you said.
Only for the event.
Well, he wouldn't have driven, I don't know how many states away, and rented a car to come for 1 day. That sounds ridiculous. And you actually acknowledge that you weren't expecting your children to come home, but your children were coming home, and you felt uncomfortable about him being in the house when your children were home, so you asked him to leave. That you acknowledge.
Right.
Okay. And so he left. I don't know whether he left during the course of an argument, but somehow he took these jars of product worth $460, and he didn't take them without your permission. He took them with your permission.
Right, we had an agreement.
That was?
That he was going to take some back. He had some barber friends and friends that was interested in buying.
Right.
And he asked if he could have a box of each scent.
Okay. And he took 78 boxes back, which are worth $468. That's your cost.
That's the price it cost for me to
Yeah,
make
he's
it,
not paying you. He's not paying you for what you retail it for. You had a disagreement. He offered to send it back if you paid for it. He held on to it for a week. Should he have held on to it longer? I don't know. That is a sort of subjective thing. I can't say you should hold on to it for a month. You should have sent it to her COD if she didn't want to pick it up. She didn't have to pick it up, but I don't know where you send things COD anymore. I don't think that they do that anymore. Anyway, your whole loss is maybe $400 in product and jar.
But he took the jars to sell them for me to his friends. I
don't
him
care.
Permission and
I
he
don't
didn't want
care.
it.
Seems to me that you both made some bad choices. It wasn't explained to him, and I don't know what he was thinking, nor do I want to know what he was thinking. You know, to drive for a day and a half to come to your house, not knowing who you are. He went to the event. He was helpful at the event, and then you told him that you had to leave, go to a hotel. That's what you said.
We didn't talk about the plans after the event. That's where
well,
the
then you should have.
communication came.
Actually, you should have.
Right, and I took accountability for that.
$468. You threw her product away. There were other things that you could have done with it. You sure you threw it away?
I did.
You did? Why? You couldn't use it? You didn't like it for your beard?
It meant nothing to me after that. I was just looking at it made me mad.
Okay, good. $468. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
No, I held on to it for as long as I could. I tried to be reasonable for as long as I could.
The beard whip is my passion, and to know that somebody can just take it and throw it away.
And it got to a point where she was unreasonable, so I discarded the product.
He took my jars, and he said, well, I have friends back at home that's willing to buy because they want to try it in there in barbershops.
He clearly was not going to pay to have it mailed back.
He was just a friend I met on TikTok that I thought was my friend, but obviously he had other intentions.
Immediate red flag all women should look out for. If you don't know a guy's middle and last name, he should not be driving states, flying states, going to an airport, going on vacation. If you just met someone, if the only way that you are able to contact someone is through social media because you don't have their phone number, they should not be coming to your house.
That's true. Yeah.
So, immediate red flag.
But I don't understand him either. You know, there's a another universe there.
I'm sure there had to be some underpinnings of promises or whatever from her end, because he didn't seem like a stupid guy. He doesn't seem like someone that just has nothing to do.
He rented a Tesla and drove a day and a half to get there just to help her at the fair.
Exactly.
Yeah, give me a... She sent the video to your employer, and your employer fired you.
Something like that, yes.
No.
Tell me what proof you have that she sent it. No, I want you to think about it.
My witness was supposed to be here.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
This is Judy Justice. Stephanie Perez is suing her ex-boyfriend, Matthew Bowen, for money she loaned him for attorney fees.
Thank you. Welcome. Interesting. Miss Perez, you met Mr. Bowen at a truck stop. Tell me when that was and how that happened.
In January, and we both worked there.
January of this year, 2020.
Of last year.
2022.
Yes.
And you began dating, and you at some point moved into his home?
I was staying there helping with his kids.
You were staying there?
Yes, I still had my own home.
So you were staying there. Were you there 5 days a week, 7 days a week?
The whole 2 months.
Okay, so you were living there for 2 months. Who was living in your house?
Nobody.
I assume you weren't just staying there to take care of his kids, that the two of you were a couple during that 2-month period. This is what your case is about. During that period of time, Mr. Bowen had physical custody full-time of his children. 2 children?
Correct, Your Honor.
And how long had you had custody of them?
I've had custody of them since 2020.
So since they were infants?
Pretty much, yes.
Did you then have court-ordered legal custody?
Yes, ma'am.
There came a time while you were living together, according to the complaint that I read, that the mother came back into the picture and was seeking custody of the children.
Correct.
And Mr. Bowen needed an attorney.
Yes.
It is your claim that you loaned him $2,000 for an attorney.
Yes.
Things didn't work out between the two of you, and you left, and it was an unpleasant parting. It was not an amicable parting. That be a fair statement?
Fair.
Fair statement?
For a while, we remained friends after that, too, though.
Well, his counterclaim is going to challenge that.
Right.
Anyway, you want your $2,000 back.
Yes.
I don't know what Mr. Bowen says about the $2,000, maybe that you gave it to him as a gift. He's going to tell me, but he's got a counterclaim. His counterclaim is that you got so angry with him that in a thoroughly vindictive way, you sent a video to his place of employment, which caused him to be fired.
Correct.
And that in addition, you aligned yourself with the mother of his children who was seeking custody of the children.
2 mothers.
2 mothers. They're 2.
Yes, 2 different mothers. Yeah.
You've been busy.
Yeah.
You aligned yourself with those people and created serious difficulty for him by sharing not only the video with them, but also some photographs of him with a BB gun.
Correct, ma'am.
Do you still have custody of the children?
She filed an ex parte order, which plaintiff had help in, and I lost the kids in January, and then I got them back in February, and then we just finally got through the court paperwork to where I have them full-time again. The judge still has to finalize them.
So what you're telling me is that in January on an ex parte application, ex parte, that means just the mothers went in themselves, some judge transferred custody without a hearing?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. And they originally set it out for 8 months to where I would even be seen.
It used to get me so frustrated, but
it was a tough time.
It was a tough time.
Very much.
Actually outrageous.
Yeah.
And then the children came back to you.
Yeah, actually in February 12th, the mother kind of, I can't do this by myself. And she brought them back, and then I've had them since then the whole time. And we just did last week finalize the paperwork, so we're just waiting.
All right, let's deal with this $2,000 legal fee. Mr. Bowen, did Ms. Perez give you $2,000?
Yes, ma'am, she did.
Okay, tell me the circumstances surrounding her giving you $2,000.
Okay, so in June, one of the mothers of my children wanted to take the custody of the kids back.
Not both children, one.
Well, this was one, and then I have another kid. They got involved, and she did an ex parte order using the exact same paperwork, word for word, everything was the same. Pretty much copy and pasted one to the other.
You're going into too much information for me. I like this all linear.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, June 2022.
We were looking for an attorney. She actually was going to give me $7,000 for an attorney that her mother had used, but I was like, that's way too much, so let's try to find something cheaper, and that's where we found somebody.
Well, this is a we. This is not.
Well,
this is
me and
really
her.
your problem.
Right.
This is really your problem. I want to know how she got involved with giving you money.
I'll give you the money, no problem. Here, do you want $7,000 for this lawyer in Bakersfield that my mother used, who I know is a rock star? And I said, no, let's find something else a little bit localer. And I found the one in Lancaster for $3,500.
And did you go to the attorney in Lancaster?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go with her or alone?
I went by myself.
Did you ask her if she wanted to go with you?
No.
Okay, so you went by yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you went to the lawyer, you got a fee, you were quoted a fee?
Yes, $3,500.
When you were at the office, that would be in June.
Yes.
And when you got that quote and you liked that lawyer,
yes,
then I assume you went home to where Ms. Perez was taking care of your children.
Yes, ma'am.
Which she was doing, by the way.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
You weren't paying her anything.
No, not at all.
And she was still paying for her own house, where she maintained another resident.
Yes. She was there because her children went to another state for the summer. So she just stayed with me while the kids were gone for summer. And then
She stayed with you for a reason. She didn't stay with you. I assume you don't live at a lake.
No.
No. Well, you don't live at the beach, right?
I wish, but no.
No, but you don't live at the beach. So now you've got a lawyer's quote for $3,500. You go home to Ms. Perez and you say, dear, I like this lawyer. He only charges $3,500. Is that something like the conversation?
Something like that, yes.
Something like that. Now I want to hear where the $2,000 came from.
Stephanie Perez claims her ex-boyfriend, Matthew Bowen, owes for an unpaid loan. Matthew is countersuing for lost wages and slander.
Now I want to hear where the $2,000 came from.
I had...
No. I said, dear, I like this lawyer. He's only $3,500.
She says, here's $2,000 and I have $1,500, and we made it happen.
Okay, here's $2,000.
Yep, yes.
And you said, I have $1,500.
Correct.
Well, you must have said, I have $1,500 first.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
You must have said his fee is $3,500. I have $1,500 because otherwise she wouldn't have known to say, here's $2,000.
Correct,
right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So let's try to get it right.
Yes, Your Honor.
You went home and you said, dear.
I have $1,500, the lawyer's $2,000. And we need to make it happen. I need to make it happen.
Were those your words? I need to make it happen? No. I want you to think about it. Don't pull information out of an orifice. Just, if you don't remember, say, I don't remember exactly what I said.
Then I don't remember exactly what was said.
Okay, you don't remember.
Correct.
Do you remember exactly how it happened? Voila. Love it. Okie dokie. Go.
He needed $3,500, and I would only give him $2,000 because I didn't have any more.
I want to hear the conversation.
Okay, he said it was $35. I said that I could.
No, he came home from the lawyer.
He came home.
And you must have said what happened or I want to
He
hear the
actually had
conversation.
talked to them on the phone, and they quoted him that price.
Okay.
He needed the money to go over there. So.
Oh, that's a different story.
Yes.
You see, she remembers. Perfect. So he spoke to the lawyer on the phone.
Yes.
Tell me.
He said that it was $3,500. All I was able to help with, I was off work at the time, so I used my savings. I said I could help him.
I know that you gave him the $2,000. I want to hear how it came about.
I told him that I would need help when my bills came due, that I would help him with the money, but I was not working, that he would have to help me with my bills, and he agreed to that, so I wired the money bank to bank.
To the lawyer's bank or to his bank?
No, to Mr. Bowen's account, because we have the same
And
bank.
what was said exactly was, you'll have to help me out with my bills when they come.
Yes.
And?
He agreed to that.
Okay.
I wired the money, he went, he took care of everything, and then my bills started to become due. He said he didn't have any money.
Bills? Like what bills?
My mortgage, my electric, my gas.
Okay, and you were still living together?
I was still staying in there, yes.
Yes. In what month? July?
Till the end of June.
Well, when did this transaction take place?
June 6th.
So just a couple of weeks later?
Yes.
Well, where did you expect him to get you $2,000 from?
He was supposed to, as he got.
Well, right now you don't have a contract for him. It wasn't a loan. Right now what I'm hearing, which is why I asked for the exact terminology, is saying to him, you'll have to help me out with my bills when they come in, is not a loan.
I also have a bunch of text messages asking and him saying right now, I know I owe you money.
Then I'd like to see those. These machines can either be a curse or a godsend. Okay, yeah, it doesn't change my position that there has to be a clear contract if there's a loan. I'm borrowing this money. I will pay you back this amount of money. And according to what you told me, he acknowledges, yeah, I'll give you some money when I have it. That's as vague as, you have to help me out with my bills when they start to come in. And he says, sure, I'll help you out. Okay. Now I'm going to come to you, Mr. Bowen.
Yes, ma'am.
It seems from reading these text messages that you acknowledge that you owe her money.
Yes, ma'am.
You acknowledge that in these text messages.
Okay.
Because you don't say, I don't owe you anything. You say, I have a big bill coming in. You know, I'm sorry. I'll try to get some to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you acknowledge that you owe her money.
Yeah, I guess, yes, Your Honor.
Yes, well, that's what this says. It's not specific, but you acknowledge you owe her money. What do you owe her money for?
Well, I guess.
Not a well. Not a well. A well is not an answer.
All right.
What did you owe her money for? Don't look at the sky. I want you to think and focus. Look at me. And that requires, I owed her for lamb chops she bought. I owed her for a plumber she paid for. Or I owed her for a
lawyer fee.
Perfect. Perfect. And the lawyer fee was how much?
$2,000.
Perfect. And how much of that $2,000 did you give her back?
I've maybe given her $100.
Just a second. Did he give you any money back?
Yes, ma'am.
Because it does indicate that he did, in fact, give you some money back.
Yes.
How much did he give you back?
About what he says, $100.
Okay, so you still owe her $1,900. There you go. How great. So even though you didn't have a perfect contract?
I know for the future.
Right. Now we have a counterclaim.
Yes, ma'am.
And the counterclaim is that you were very annoyed with him, which is very ridiculous, Ms. Perez. I understand from reading your papers, and I'm trying to read between the lines, and, you know, you develop a certain amount of wisdom when you get older. He had you at the house for 2 months. Your kids were away for the summer. He has these 2 little kids, right? And he was using you as a babysitter.
Yes.
And you felt used.
I know. I got very attached to him.
To whom?
To
the children or him?
The kids.
So according to your answer and your counterclaim, Mr. Bowen, you were involved in an altercation at work.
Yes, ma'am.
Where do you work?
I worked at Love's.
What is that?
It's a truck stop, and it just services pretty much the big rigs on the road.
Okay. And an incident occurred while you were working.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the date of the incident? Because I'm going to see the video.
September 18th.
Of
2022.
Tell me what happened.
I'm a cashier, and, you know, after doing it for so long, just so you pick things up, you see people coming in and you know they're up to no good. I have my eyes on this one character, and sure enough, he grabs like a $400 party speaker and a bunch of other little electronic stuffs, and he's walking out the store, and I'm trying to get my coworkers' attention who were sitting there talking like, hey, stop him, stop him, stop him, he's stealing. And then nobody like pays attention, and he walks outside, and that's kind of where it started. Is I said, hey, give that stuff back, and I swatted the speaker out of his hand, and that's when he came at me and he attacked me, and I was defending myself. He had a knife, like once you go and you'll see it, like he had like an 8-inch knife.
Stephanie Perez has accused her ex-boyfriend, Matthew Bowen, of refusing to pay back a loan. Matthew is countersuing, claiming Stephanie got him fired after sharing a fight video with his job.
Okay, so you were working and trying to prevent a thief from leaving the area with property that you were responsible for.
Correct.
Okay, well, that sounds perfectly reasonable unless you're living in some ridiculous community that says, oh, you got to let everybody steal. And we don't stop shoplifters because, you know, that's not the American way. Okay, so you were protecting property that was your responsibility because you work at the store.
Correct.
How long had you been working at the store?
I worked at the store up until I got let go for a year and a half.
Okay, now I'm going to see the video.
Okay. And just for context, like it starts after I swatted the big old box out of his hand.
Is this the video that you allege that the plaintiff sent to your employer?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Both
to the mother of your children?
2 of them, yes, ma'am.
To 2 of the mothers of your children, in order to assist them in their
ex parte
custody
orders, yes.
In their ex parte application.
Yes.
I have evidence on that too. that
I
he
want to
asked
tell you
the
something.
baby mom to lie in court today, and that's why she wouldn't come.
I have to tell you something.
Okay.
I don't understand why you would get involved in that anyway.
I didn't.
Okay, so you never sent this video.
He sent me the video,
Just
but I did not send it to corporate.
You didn't send it to anybody, is my
No.
question. You didn't send it to...
He sent it to tons of people.
I'm asking you whether you ever sent it to his place of business.
No.
Did you ever send it to either of the people who were the mother of his children?
No, I only know one of them.
And you didn't send it?
No.
Okay, so I'll look at the video, then you'll tell me what proof you have that she sent it.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, take a look.
Back up. Hey. Hey, bro.
Punk.
Is that you?
My adrenaline was pumping, Your Honor. I apologize.
What were you yelling at?
At the camera, just at the camera, yeah.
Why were you yelling at the camera?
I turned around and seen it. I didn't even know the guy was recording it.
Which guy?
There's a random trucker. It's a random trucker.
Who was recording it for what reason? I don't know. You don't know.
I don't know. He just...
Well, how did you get the recording?
He sent it to one of the guys that used to work there as well, and then I got it from him.
You sent it to one of the guys that used to work
Yeah,
at the
that's
truck
on the
stop.
video. I'm not going to say his name, but he's in the video right there.
Okay, so one of your coworkers.
Yes, ma'am.
And this guy who was there, the thief.
Yes.
Was clearly high on something.
Yes. And then, like, if you back it up, you can...
Okay.
There's a smidgen where you see the knife.
I get the picture. Please, I get the picture. Now, what I need is from you proof that she sent that video for whatever reason to your employer, and I need proof that the reason you were fired from your job was because of that video. Because me, I would give you a gold star and make you Employee of the Month. I would, if I owned the truck stop. So you understand what you have to prove to me?
Yes.
That she sent the video to your employer, and your employer fired you because of the video.
Okay, so my proof on both, my witness was supposed to be here.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah,
I was
right.
supposed to be 5'8", but I had a short
Right,
arm.
right, I understand that. But the witness that came with me, she bailed just like on everything else, so I don't have any proof of it. It was
So just a sec. So the answer is you don't have any proof
Correct.
of that. Okay, well, that's easy. And what proof do you have that she sent that clip of a video or gave it to one of the mothers of your children
Yes.
in order to assist them in their custody dispute, which is not illegal, but would be nasty?
I don't.
So you don't?
Don't, yeah. No.
Well, your counterclaim then is dismissed. You understand that?
Yeah.
And you owe her $1,900.
Okay.
Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
It was a gift while we were together, but as soon as we broke up, it was, oh, now I need my money.
I've asked him for my money, and he refused to give me it.
If you got the right person to make the team, it's good. But if you don't, and it's not a solid connection, it's not worth it.
I'm a single mom. I don't have money just to hand out like that.
Documents, get proof of everything. That's all I could say.
Understand that. I feel as if I'm living in some alternative universe. Okay, got it out of my system. Thank you.
Of course.
Posting stuff about her.
She was going to expose nude photos of me. This is her saying that she wanted to fight me.
Leave her alone.
Okay, so
This is not a so. This is a period.
This is Judy Justice. Haley Chapman is suing her husband's ex-girlfriend, Fallon Bigelow, for defamation, harassment, and emotional distress.
You're welcome.
The husband isn't here.
no.
Where is he?
He is currently incarcerated, Your Honor,
Where?
in a state correctional institution in Florida.
When did he go into jail?
He was arrested in September of 2022.
Has he been incarcerated since?
Yes, ma'am.
You have 3 children with him?
Yes, Your Honor.
How old are you?
I'm 20 years old.
20.
Yes, ma'am.
How old are your children?
I actually have 4 in total. I have a 5-year-old who turns 6 in December. I have a 3-year-old who turns 4 in August, a 2-year-old who turns 3 in August, and a newborn, 2 weeks old, ma'am.
Who do you live with?
I live by myself.
The only connection that you have with the plaintiff is that you have one child with her husband,
Yes.
who is how old?
He's about to be 5 in the end of July.
Now, this is your complaint. Many of these things at least start in 2022, and it is your claim that Miss Bigelow, who has one child with your husband, embarked on a course of conduct that can clearly be described as harassment, defamation, which you're going to present to me, and the allegations were serious enough, and this is back in 2022, I would assume, that you filed an application for a protective order.
It was in 2021 that I had filed the protective order.
What month?
It was, I believe, March.
Did you have a trial on that protective order?
There was no trial. There was enough evidence presented.
No. There was no trial.
No, ma'am.
Were you present when the protective order was granted?
Yes, ma'am.
And you consented to it?
Yes.
Okay. So you consented to the plaintiff having a protective order indicating that for 12 months, and hopefully for the rest of your life, you would not assault, menace, threaten, or harass her.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And according to what I've read, that was in effect until March of 2022.
Yes, ma'am.
While the protective order was in effect, there was a violation of that protective order.
Correct, Your Honor.
What month?
It was in the month of March 15th.
Of 2022 or 2021?
2021, Your Honor.
Was there a hearing on the violation of the protective order?
Yes, there was, and I believe at that time, probation temporarily was given to Miss Bigelow.
Is that correct, Miss Bigelow?
Yes, ma'am. Administrative probation.
And all of the events that are the subject of your petition happened between 2021 and 2022.
This has actually been going on far longer than that, and
Have any of the acts that Ms. Bigelow were prevented from doing as a result of the protective order occurred after the protective order expired in March of 2022?
Yes, ma'am, I can provide evidence.
That's what I want to see. So now we have Ms. Bigelow, who is on notice. She consented to a protective order because she knew that the evidence would be clear that you were entitled to it. Otherwise, nobody consents to it. So she consented to that order, which means you either assaulted, menaced, threatened, or harassed her. I assume it was a cause of harassment. Then you violated that order and you got a period of probation. Okay. Now I'm hearing evidence of acts that occurred after the protective order. I'm just hearing it. After the protective order expired in March of 2022.
Yes.
Correct? You want to tell me when the first incident was?
The first incident was when me and my husband, on TikTok, there's an algorithm that shows random videos, and she popped up on his For You page, and it was a post about her mother. And so she was living with her mother at the time, and he sent it to her mother.
Your husband did?
Yes.
I only want to know things that had to do with you.
Okay. So I was arrested after my husband got arrested. They tried to charge me.
Just a second. You were arrested in what month?
It was in October, ma'am.
Of what year?
2022.
You were arrested for what?
They tried to claim that I was trafficking drugs.
That's what your husband is in jail for?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what did that have to do with her?
It doesn't.
Then it doesn't?
Well,
it doesn't?
She had made posts about me going to jail.
Can I see them?
Yes, ma'am.
This doesn't say anything that is defamatory. I want to know what you meant is she's already lost custody of her children enough times. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping one day I might be able to gain custody of my son's 2 daughters. What is that?
Okay, so Haley Chapman claimed that she had no understanding of the drugs being in the home when she was found guilty.
What is my son's 2 daughters? Do you mean your boyfriend's?
No, her children. She's religiously lost custody of her children.
No. I understand that. I don't understand this sentence. You wrote, she has already lost custody of her children enough times. I am hoping one day I might be able to gain custody of my son's 2 daughters.
Oh, sorry, not daughters, but sisters. I apologize.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Your Honor,
Just
I
a second. So far, it's not defamatory.
I have my order for reunification. I've only lost my children one time.
Doesn't matter. Put a look at it. So far, I don't see anything defamatory. If she wrote that you were arrested and you were arrested, that's not defamatory.
Haley Chapman claims her husband's ex-girlfriend, Fallon Bigelow, owes for defamation, harassment, and emotional distress. Fallon is countersuing Haley for emotional distress.
Still breaking, Betty. There's something wrong with you. You understand that?
Yes.
You understand that this is all coming from a very stupid place, a very stupid brain that you have absolutely nothing to do with except that you were mad at this guy, at this prize that's sitting in jail for drugs. And so, yeah, don't tell me that you were trying to be altruistic. I don't believe it.
No, that's not it. Actually, her husband assaulted me. I was a child and he was an adult for 1.5 years of my childhood. My son is a product of rape.
You don't get me. That has nothing to do with her.
She has shown up at my house.
Just a second. That has.
Okay.
Okay, so she sent a picture of your mugshot, which is also not illegal, and said that you were arrested and charged with trafficking in fentanyl, which you were, right? Which you were. Those charges were subsequently dismissed?
No, ma'am. I was granted pretrial diversion because they didn't have the evidence that they needed to actually.
That's not what I asked you. You were arrested.
Yes, ma'am.
This is your mugshot.
Mm-hmm.
And you were arrested for drugs.
Correct.
So she didn't print anything that wasn't true. You were arrested. I'm not saying that what she did was right. I'm saying what she did was stupid, pointless, and just out of nothing but jealousy. Nothing. She certainly doesn't care about your children. Okay. So far, what you showed me, nasty, but not actionable because it's true. What's next?
I have the TikTok that she posted of her claim that she was sexually assaulted by my husband, which backfired on me as well. I had to shut down.
That's what she says. That has nothing to do with you.
Well, an onslaught of people came and harassed me because of her post.
I don't know that at all. And if they harassed you, that's their problem. But I'll take a look at what you want me to look at. But if she accused your husband of a crime of raping her, and she said it's your bad judgment to be with him, and now I assume you have 4 children with him?
3, Your Honor.
3, and 1 with somebody else?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. Sounds terrific. 20 years old. Sounds like we're going in the right direction here for a joyous life. Oh. What do you do for a living?
I'm a bartender.
How many children do you have?
1.
Who do you live with?
Myself, but I'm currently moving.
Moving where?
South Carolina.
With whom?
My son and I.
Why?
To leave Florida.
Why? Why South Carolina? You just
I want to go to college for underwater welding, and they don't offer that program where I live currently.
Who are you going with?
Just by myself.
Who lives in South Carolina?
Nobody.
Do you have a place to live?
Yes.
Who's paying for it?
Me.
From what?
My job. I've been saving over the last 2 years.
How much money do you have in the bank?
I have $180,000.
Oh. Okay. All nasty, stupid. It's not actionable. What else?
I have here that she told me to hurt myself and that she was going to expose nude photos of me.
I'd like to see that.
I also have here her saying that she wanted to throw bed bugs in my yard and on me.
This is all stupid stuff, but nasty and stupid and vicious. And I must add, illiterate. So I hope you're going to a very good school wherever you're going. First, they should teach you literacy.
Understand.
What's next?
I did suffer Chronic post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, and depression because of this whole situation.
No, you suffer from anxiety, depression if you do, because you were 15 years old when you had a baby, and then you had 4 more children, you're 20 years old, and your husband's in jail. That would put any normal person in a situation of depression.
I do have proof, Your Honor.
You don't have proof.
It's from my psychiatrist.
If your psychiatrist was here and you wish to waive it, I'll be more than happy to listen to your psychiatrist. It's what you told your psychiatrist. I'm telling you, I don't have to be a psychiatrist. Somebody who's 20 years old and has 4 children, all under the age of 5, and whose husband is incarcerated for the last year and a half and has 1 child in between that's not his, that's a reason to be depressed. There's a reason to be depressed. Her nagging you because she's stupid and jealous is nasty, but not anywhere as nasty as your husband getting arrested, going to jail, leaving his 3 children and his wife alone to fend for themselves. And if he was incarcerated for drugs, making them, dealing with them, and you were living together, it's kind of hard for me to imagine that you wouldn't have some suspicion of what he was doing for a living. Do you understand what I mean? That would cause me situational depression. And there is only one way to deal with your situational depression, which is to get your life in order.
Currently, I am a nursing student and I have a year left.
Is it a building that you go to?
Yes, ma'am. I restart in September of this year.
You start or you started last year?
I started and then I took a break and then I go back in September.
When did you take a break?
From August of last year up until September, this upcoming September.
And now you're going back in September?
Yes.
And what have you been doing in between, aside having a baby?
In between then, I've just been working. I have 2 jobs.
Where are your children?
My children are actually with my friend at the hotel.
All 4 of them?
2 of them, Your Honor.
Where are the rest of them?
One is staying with my mother-in-law, and my son is in summer camp.
Which one is with your mother-in-law?
One of my daughters that I have with my husband.
And how old is the child who's in summer camp?
He's 5.
Is he in sleepaway summer camp?
No.
Well, who does he live with?
He lives with me.
Who's taking care of him now?
Right now, his grandpa.
His grandfather?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that your father?
It is my son's dad's father.
Oh, God.
Lee Chapman has accused her husband's ex-girlfriend, Fallon Bigelow, of defamation and harassment. Fallon claims Haley falsely called child services, causing her emotional distress.
All right, you have anything else you want to show me? So far, there's a bunch of nonsense. It's not nonsense,
ma'am.
It's just very unfortunate.
This is her saying that she wanted to fight me.
I don't care about wanting to fight you. You didn't fight with her, right?
No.
And she didn't come to fight you, and she didn't hit you, right? All right, we're done. Let's see, money owed for emotional distress caused by leaking photos. All right.
Haley Chapman posted child pornography of me via Facebook.
When?
September of 2018. Also, her and her husband were under investigation for extortion of child pornography, threatening that if I did not fight them, they would release the video of him sexually assaulting me while I was pregnant.
I would like to see where she, not he, where she sent you something that you consider harassment.
Okay, she has shown up to my house on...
No, she, listen to me carefully, she sent you an extortion letter. I want to see where she did, not her husband.
The police took the iPod with the original conversation because it involved child pornography.
If I don't have it, I don't have it.
Okay, that's understandable.
Do you have it? The answer is yes or no.
No, not the original conversation.
Ms. Chapman, I told you my best long and short-term advice to you. You are articulate, nice looking, young, whole life ahead of you. It depends upon where you want to hang your hopes. And if you hang it with somebody who's incarcerated, that's ridiculous. He's not coming out to you anyway. You have a new father for your baby. Do you live with that person? Do you live with that person? Who do you live with?
I live alone.
Oh, God.
I also have the times that she made fictitious DCF calls against me and messages of her admitting that she called DCF on me because I wouldn't fight her.
Because you wouldn't fight her?
Yes.
I would like to actually take a look at those. Not that you're going to get a penny from her. You understand that?
Yep.
You understand why?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. And by the way, you know, I understand that you say that there was an abusive sexual relationship between you and her husband, who is the father of your child.
Yes, ma'am.
You did, in fact, allow him to see the child regularly. Is
No,
that
ma'am.
No?
No.
You mean he's never seen his
Never.
son?
Actually, no, incorrect. When my son was first born, he was 6 hours late. He came in, he said hello, and other than that, he was not permitted to be around the child.
So he never came to your house and never saw him from the time the child was born until the time he went into jail. Is that correct?
The only time that he did see my son was when she came to my house in June of 2022, when he was parked outside the house and my son had come outside. Other than that, he has not been around my child.
Yeah, well, you're Haley on this, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. She's angry at you, right? She's angry at you because you won't stop. You keep posting stuff about her, about her husband, about the kids, whatever. It's all because...
There were multiple reasons as to why I was upset with her. There were on 3 different occasions when the restraining order was put in place, claiming that I violated when I did not. I was only
Just a second.
Okay.
There was a final order of protection and a finding that you violated that final order of protection, and all this stuff was harassing, nasty, unfortunately, not defamatory, but clearly annoying. And she finally said, I've had enough. You have no case. You have no case, and you're just lucky I'm not awarding her any money because nothing that you posted about her was not true. She was, in fact, arrested. I assume that you were, in fact, a minor when you became pregnant and the father of your child was an adult. I assume all those things are true. Listen to me. If you saved $180,000, which is a lot of money to be able to save over a couple of years bartending, which is to your credit, and if what you're going to do is try to start a new life, good for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Good for you. Put your time to better use. Leave her alone. She's got enough troubles just negotiating life at age 20 with 4 children. Leave her alone.
Okay, so...
This is not a so. This is a period. The end. Goodbye.
This court is adjourned.
I believe that she gave me some really good life advice and was able to hopefully open the defendant's eyes as to the problems that she's been causing.
She threatened me, threatened my friends, made fictitious DCF reports against me.
Things just mellow out and she decides not to...
Time to get out of Florida.
...defame me or harass me anymore.
That case reminded me of my family court days, Sarah. Here's this guy who was an adult. She was 15 when her first child was born, 14 when she got pregnant. And I don't understand why that guy's not in jail.
For something other than drugs.
For something other than drugs. Except she probably...
He married her and then had 3 more children.
I'm not sure when he married her, but in between there, in the beginning, he had a child with the defendant. And I think that the plaintiff and defendant sort of knew each other. But there are now 5 children, all with mothers, single mothers, who are unsettled. And there's no question, one's living with a grandparent, one's staying here, one back with a friend in a hotel room. It's just so sad for these children. I don't know how to convince generations of young people that you're not supposed to have children, that you're not emotionally and financially and equipped to take care of. Just do that.
And it makes every step of her getting her life back on track at 20 as a child herself all the more difficult with 4 kids in tow. So not only, you know, how sad it is for the children, but she's a child herself that should be able to get her life back on track.
It would be wonderful. She, you know, both seem to be articulate people. Of course, they can't write, but maybe it's just the way they write when they write text.
Twitter fingers, you know.
Yeah, Twitter. But it looks illiterate to me. Maybe I'm just from the wrong generation. That's possible. But it's just sad for those 5 kids.
Hello, xin chào cả nhà. Cảm ơn cả nhà đã luôn theo dõi và ủng hộ kênh của mình nhé. Ngày hôm nay hãy cùng bắt tay vào tô màu với mình. Bức tranh cô gái rất là xinh đẹp. cùng tô với mình nha. Cái quần jean này, quần jean mình sẽ tô màu xanh nha. Cô gái đang đút tay vào túi quần, rất là cá tính. Tóc mình sẽ chọn tóc màu xám nha. Vậy là chỉ với ít phút mình đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh rồi. Các bạn thấy bức tranh của mình có đẹp không ạ? Và bây giờ nhớ nhấn like và follow ủng hộ kênh của mình nha. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những clip hướng dẫn tô màu lần sau.